Welcome live here on the Boxing Biz podcast radio show. We're going live. You know what's going down today. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo and his 2-year layoff in a return. Let's go, champ.
DOOMATRON activated.
And we are activated. Gonna go live right now and turn on the SHOWTIME Championship Boxing on. You guys already know what's going down tonight, man. Whoo, you got Subriel on the card. And most importantly, man, you know, there's a lot of questions that a lot of people have regarding Gary Russell Jr., ring rust, you know, how he's coming into this fight. And, you know, I'm the one to just tell you right away that, you know, ring rust does exist. You know, ring rust does exist. But I don't think it exists in the realm of the Gary Russell Jr. Breed. This man is definitely a bred fighter. You know, there is no time off the gym. You know, he's in there either training or he's in there with his brothers. And, you know, I think that tonight's going to be a fight where, you know, we get to see Gary Russell Jr. display his experience, his intellect, and skill. However, he's taking on Mark Magsayo. Now, you know Mark Magsayo is a power hitter. He has good range on his hooks. And what can I say, man? He's welcoming this challenge. He's not shying away from any of this. He was very happy to even, you know, be in this position. So, got to give it to him. Young fighter, strong. And we're going to get to see some, you know, maybe some highlights. Maybe these fighters get knocked down. I don't know. Mark Magsayo definitely has the power. So I got to just go with that. You know, anything can happen. This is boxing. You know, boxing, you got to punch his chance. And right about now, that's what Mark Magsayo definitely has. But not only that, you know, I got the, if you guys didn't check out my fighter breakdown, go ahead into the Boxing Biz playlist there and check out the breakdown, the fighter breakdown that I did for Mark Magsayo and Gary Russell Jr. It was, you know, based off the last fights that they both had. I think that I didn't have to go back too far in order to kind of get a grip on what each fighter could present as strong points and weak points in this fight. So I'm going to go with right now that both these fighters, you know, evenly in their own way have their own advantages. Right about now, the telecast is on. SHOWTIME Championship Boxing. Shout out to the whole crew tuning in today with me on the live fight chat. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo. It's going down. Oh, man, look at my little dog over here. I know y'all hear her. She over here, Mrs. Little Shih Tzu. You all right over there? Yeah, we are right over here. Oh, man. A lot going on in the boxing world. A lot going on. I heard, man, somebody hit me with a rumor. I don't even know how true it was, man, that Teofimo Lopez was possibly going to be training with Eddie Reynoso. And I'm like, come on. Like, only one video was out there on this thing. I got excited. Obviously, you know, you get to see Canelo and Teofimo Lopez, you know, at those events where they kind of just showing off the belts and stuff. So I thought that the good relationship might have, you know, ended up in something like Eddie Reynoso training Teo. But still a lot to really investigate on that. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Yes, I should be there in Atlantic City, but I'm not. Maybe next time they're going to be fighting at the Borgata. Got a nice view of Atlantic City. I'm feeling it. Looks good. Borgata Hotel is a nice hotel too. I think it's fairly new. So, man, what can I ask you guys on the poll tonight? I think I'm gonna go ahead and say Gary Russell Jr. Does Gary Russell Jr. win by TKO? Let's see what the boxing public thinks about that. So Gary Russell Jr. right wins by TKO. Let's see who got that on in there. Let's see who thinks that this can happen. Gary Russell Jr. wins by TKO. And then, you know, I'll do a poll for my man Mark Magsayo, right? We got to give both the fighters the opportunity to be, heard and spoken of by the people. So ask the community now. Will Gary Russell Jr. do his thing? Twins, chee! Yo, I'm gonna go ahead and share this all day, day. Give me a second. You already know I gotta get it together. Yeah. Gonna pop that right open for you right now. Shout out to Twin. Tuning in with the kid. All right. You got Brian Custard. Al Bernstein. And is that my... Well, wait a minute. Damn. He's getting chunky. Somebody's getting chubby in there. I'm not even going to say nothing. But I'm going to go ahead and share this real quick with the whole squadron. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in right now. Championship Boxing on Showtime. And we're going to have some fun tonight, man. I'm really looking to see that Subriel Matias fight versus Petro. Petro was in phenomenal shape. Can't say that I've seen too much of Petro's, but his conditioning seemed to be in play. So pretty sure that Matias is going to have a fight with this man tonight. All right. Let's go, champies. Who's out there? Who you got? What's going on? You don't know? Gary Russell, Subriel Matias, Tug. Man, Tug's on the card. Come on now. Tug's last fight with Gary Russell Jr. was, whoo, that was a tough one for the man. Hey, listen, no easy fight when you're facing the Gary Russell Jr. There's just no such thing. You know what I'm saying? Gary Russell Jr. is a force to be reckoned with anybody. Really, 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 really tough guy. All right, let's go ahead and put the captions. All right. Championship Boxing Showtime. Who else is out there? Calling out to the airwaves. Salvador Asensio. What up, Cheap? Tuning in. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo live fight chat with the DOOMATRON. That's right. Round by round, blow by blow. For all my champions out there. Tuning in audio style. Wicked wild. I'm gonna turn up for y'all tonight. Making sure y'all get everything. All right. Got Al Bernstein on the Mikey. Man, Al Bernstein, man. Dude's a legend. Man. Been around for so long. Seen so much. And right about now, they got Jermell Charlo and Castaño. I guess they're talking about the matchup. Charlo being mentioned with Canelo. There's just been so much waves, man, with Canelo too lately. A lot of waves. Oh my God, yeah. You know what? You can't be mad at Fulton. He did his thing. There was a lot of not a lot of controversy, but Stephen Fulton won that fight, and obviously others felt the other way. It's okay. Brandon Figueroa has nothing to be ashamed of. It was a good fight. And obviously Tank and Isaac Cruz, who for the life of me was a kid that, straight dream book story kind of guy, coming out of Mexico, wife helping him out. It's just a dream, humble beginnings. And then booyah, he gets it, man. He gets that opportunity and he shows up. I mean, he doesn't win, but we've always said there's a good way to lose sometimes, especially if there's nobody that really knew you. But Canelito, they got the king up there. Canelo, I'm telling you, man. I don't know. He's fighting Thanos next. That Makabu fight. Makabu actually fights, I think, this week or next week. I got to check the boxing schedule to be sure. But it's going to be a matchup to see him once he faces Canelo. Again, this is a 12-round championship fight at Gary Allen Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo. That's Mr. Gary Russell, right? For the WBC World Featherweight title. And the other fights on the card, interesting enough. Shout out to Evan Holyfield, man. Then I am talking about Evander Holyfield's son. Wants to stay undefeated. He'll be facing Chris Rollins and on his way up, as he develops as a professional fighter. David Benavidez giving him a big shot right now. He's actually training right now, getting ready. David Benavidez, dangerous fighter. You know, I don't think he gets enough credit for how intellectual he can be in the ring. You know, I think we got to get past the whole thing that he's young. I think he's developed into quite a professional fighter, and I think that sky's the limit for him. 168-pound division, obviously, with the key fight that many call would be with Canelo Alvarez, but Canelo's right now, he's on a journey. I mean, some legend journey that, you know, we can't really get him right now in the ring with Benavidez. He wants to be fighting at the 175 now cruiser. It's getting pretty hard. Brandon Lee, also on the telecast, another young contender that's been climbing the ranks little by little. Good power, excellent power actually. Yeah, the Evan fight. Yeah, he fought not too long ago. Wants to stay undefeated. This kid, I think he fought, if I'm not mistaken, he was fighting in October. He fought in October against Charles Stanford. So yeah, he's been active. Definitely been active. You know, when they're coming up in the early stages of their career, they want to stay as active as possible, especially when you're fighting 4 and 6 rounders. Rasheem Brown, 11-0. He's going to be fighting tonight too as well, and he's fighting another fighter that's undefeated. It's one of those fights that can be really fun to watch. 2 young up-and-coming fighters, and you put them together, undefeated. The O got to go. Let's go, champ. Co-main event, Subriel Matias. Obviously, is going to be one of the fights. Is going to be very fun to watch. Tug Nambayar. I don't know Sakaria Lucas enough to be here talking about him, but you know, he's got 25-1 record. He's got some knockouts. You can never give or take too much away from these fighters, especially last minute. It's you know, it's definitely not out of the way for somebody to give competition, especially when you're garnered up 25-1. But Tug's a tough guy. Very, very tough guy. I wonder what you guys got, man. Shout out to all my sports bettors out there. I know that you know, I don't know how light or what sites you're using for the bets on tonight's fights, but you know, I had a couple of you know, slight bets of my own that I could have probably shared with you guys quickly. Because honestly, you know, there's a lot of questions, obviously, over Gary Allen's Russell Jr. or Mr. Let's just call him Mr. Russell Jr., right? Mr. Gary Russell Jr. We got too many questions over him with the ring rust and all that. I obviously feel a certain way about that. I don't think there's no ring rust at all. But there was a couple of interesting bets on this main fight. I didn't see the other fights, so I can't really tell you too much about Subriel Matias or anybody else that was on there. I concentrated mostly on the main card. And I found out that, you know, I mean, a Hail Mary bet, right? Just think about it, right? And this is just, I'm going to give you 3 bets that I thought were good, that maybe we could make some guapi, right? Some Skrilla, some ducats. Maybe a Hail Mary bet of a draw, right? Gary has been away for 2 years. Mark Magsayo is on the terror, number 3. And he's, you know, got good power, good range. He was knocked down by Julio Ceja. He's able to come back from adversity. So I just thought to myself, maybe a draw. Gary Allen's Jr.'s maybe a 2-year layoff. Maybe he's not at his super best. Mark's looked very healthy at the weigh-ins. Maybe we could get a draw out of this. Who knows? Take $25 and you could definitely make $525 in that draw bet. And that was on DraftKings, right? And obviously, you know, I'm not sponsored by any of these guys, but, you know, that's the site that I was looking at. So kudos to them for making it simple in their interface. So for any guy that's, you know, kind of new to the bet and stuff, they can just get around that thing. You know, sometimes these things are just so much going on, you get lost. So give that to DraftKings. So another bet, right? If you wanted to group the rounds, you got round 7 through 9 for Gary Russell Jr. I think the Gary Russell Jr. rounds 1 through 6, he's a terror. Super fast. He's trying to hit you with everything, really trying to intimidate you and put you on your back foot. So if anything was happening with Gary Russell to win by, technical decision, turn $25 to $175, group those rounds 7 through 9, and maybe you make some bucks. You got Tug Nambayar and Sakaria Lucas in the ring. No 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Fight official after the 5th round. So here we go. And just to give you that last bet, Mark Magsayo by decision turned $25 to $212 on DraftKings. So those were my 3 bets that I could recommend for you guys last minute. And you got Jimmy Lennon Jr. inside the ring welcoming the fighters. Jimmy Lennon Jr. sounds like a legend. All right, you got Sakaraya Lucas getting ready. Just took off the suit. Look at Tug. Tug got the fitted. Judges, Ton Lundy from Jersey. And the telecast was super fast. Obviously took out the rest of the Eddie Claudio as referee. Eddie Claudio. So I've been in a couple of these higher end fights, if you want to call them that. All right. Sakaraya Lucas. Man, I'm excited to see what Sakaraya Lucas is going to bring. Tug's a monster. You don't want to mess with the tugboat. Definitely don't. Let's go, Chim. Shout out to the chat again. Twin, Salvador. Thank you for tuning in. You already know. Let's go, champ. I'm going to have to hit y'all with the air horn. Vamos, campeón. I like Tug's vest there. What is that? That's a button down? All right, Tug. You already know. Training in Los Angeles, California. 12-2 and 9 KOs. Did a great job with Gary Russell Jr. Wasn't able to figure out that puzzle. And took that L. I mean, not hating on him. It's a tough opponent in Gary Russell Jr. It's going to be cool to see this unfold as Tug faced Gary Russell Jr. already. So let's see what Tug's statement is going to be now, Tug lost to Chris Colbert too, man. He has those 2 losses to speedy boxers. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of style Sakaraya Lucas is bringing in. For those that are familiar with him, probably already know what type of style he brings. I haven't seen too much tape on Sakaraya, so let's see what this works out to be. All right, both fighters in the center of the ring. Referee giving instructions on the belt line. Let's go, champ. All right. Fighters touch gloves. It's time.
Listos pe los chingazos. Listos pe los chingazos.
Yeah, we ready. We ready for los chingazos. Let's go. Showtime. Atlantic City. The Borgata. Nayambayar versus Lucas. Round 1. Super featherweight bout. This is a 10-round fight. Both fighters stepping into the center of the ring. Sakaraya working the jab. Tug also fighting back with a jab. Sakaraya slips. Actually jabs Tug in the chest. Sakaraya is not showing any sort of fear coming into this fight. He runs into a jab by Tug. Tug's starting to throw his jab from the hip. Right body shot by Sakaraya. Wow. Started off aggressive. Not messing around right now. Okay, a lot of feel out going on. Nambayar scores another jab. Okay. Right hand lands by Tug. Sakaraya runs into that, and I don't know if he grabs the waist of Nambayar because he felt that punch or it was just an awkward angle to land in. Pace is starting to slow up a little bit. 2 minutes left in this round. Nambayar still trying to get the jab in there. Okay. Sakaraya Lucas is now starting to cover up a little bit more. Steps in with a wild left hook and then a right hand. Nambayar's out of the range. Not worried at all. So doubles the jab, Nambayar. having success with his jab. Right hand by Zachariah Lucas, but not. Oh my God, Tug hooks Zachariah, and looks like Zachariah is on shaky legs. 1 minute, 19 seconds left. That left hook really hurt Zachariah Lucas, but he's keeping composure. Oh, another left hook. Zachariah manages to block that one. It looks like the left hook's going to be working for Nambayar tonight. Cheer. Triples. My God. 4 times. I don't even know. Quadrupled it? Yeah. Nambayar quadruples the jab. Slips a right hand. Throws that left hook again. 48 seconds left in the first round. And Zachariah Lucas has already been rattled by Tug in this fight. Having success with the jab. 1-2, 1-2 by Tug Nambayar. Zachariah Lucas unleashes his own right hand to the body. Zachariah Lucas is trying to land his right hand. Tug's head movement just too much. He's got to set it up with that jab. Tug triples the jab again. Manages to cover good ground. 15 seconds left in this round. Nambayar, real calm, starting to gain the range. Starting to feint. Nice left hook again. Sort of like a hybrid hook jab that he just hit Zachariah Lucas with. And round 1 is over. Wow. Champions. I don't know. What do you think so far? So far, I think the Zachariah's tried to come in and maybe push back the aggressive fighter that Tug can be. But he has to be more careful. Oh, no. You could catch a bad one like that, champion.
Finish him.
You know, you got to be... See the slip. Comes up with the left hook.
Fatality.
And Zachariah Lucas on shaky legs. Looks like he stepped on a banana peel. And Tug really calm and collective. See the slip, right? Unorthodox slip. Left hook right to the chin. Man, what a shot. Oh. Zachariah has a minute to recover. Hope they've given him good instructions to be a little more careful coming in with aggressive punches when you're fighting a guy like Tug. Okay, round 2 of a 10-round fight. And they're in the ring. Jab for jab. Zachariah being a little more cautious. Feigning. Manages to land a jab on Tug to the stomach. Tug starting to walk him down. Slips again. Watch for that slip left hook. Tug has seen an opening, and he's not going to not try it. He's going to have to try it again and again to see if he can get that shot again. And, I mean, look, he can look for other openings, but he looks like he really wants that knockout left hook, man. It's 2 times in a row he just tried it in this round. Walking, Zachariah Lucas throws a shot to the body, misses. Hits a Tug like sort of like on the hip. Wild shot. I think Zachariah Lucas now, after that first round, is being a little more cautious. Maybe too cautious. 1-2 by Zachariah Lucas. Deflected by Tug Nambayar's shoulder roll. Doubles up the jab. Nambayar lands, but is parried by Zachariah. 1 minute, 48 seconds of the round. Second round, that is. Oh, right hand by Tug. He's starting to try to come over the jab of Zachariah Lucas right now. Zachariah Lucas throws a jab. If it's too lazy, he's coming over the right. Tug Nambayar. Zachariah holding the glove of Tug Nambayar. Referee has to step in, break these guys up. Yeah, twin. Tug looking sharp. That dip to the left, that's unorthodox, man. But it generates good power for that left hook. Watch as he do it again. And he could actually dip to the left, whether they throw a jab at him or a right hand. And that left hook could come. Oh, dirty boxing on the inside by Zachariah Lucas. Starting to get a little rough. Referee warns Zachariah. All right. Jab for jab. Let's go, champ. Tug, Zachariah in the center of the ring. 40 seconds left. 10-round fight. A lot of feinting going on right now. Oh, Zachariah lands a jab. A lot of feigning. That right hand actually gets there. Nambayar gets clipped, but not affected at all by the shot. Double left hook by Nambayar. Has much success. Steps in 1-2 and then the jab. Zachariah manages to barely get out of range. In the center of the ring. 1-2 by Zachariah, followed by a left hook. Lands. Doesn't affect Tug. 1-2 again by Zachariah. But Tug is not affected by any of these shots. Deflected off the shoulder. Round over. That's round 2 in the bank. Let's go, champ. Champ. Let's go. Let's see. What are the instructions in the ring? Nambayar keys to victory by the telecast. Punch in combination. Punching in combination. Yes, he has to punch in combination. And also go to the body. Going to the body does slow the fighter down. And use the double left hook. Double left hook definitely works. Double left hook. I'm looking for Mark Magsayo tonight to actually give me that double left hook. On the fighter breakdown, it worked real well for Julio Cejas. So if you want to check that fighter breakdown again, just go ahead and click on it here on the Boxing Biz podcast YouTube channel. You'll find it on the playlist. All right. Zachariah Lucas going into the third round. And it looks like Tug is ready to go to war. Round 3. Something is going on. Referee stalling. Don't know what it is. Something's being said. I don't know what it is. Doctor's in the corner. What's going on right here, guy? Somebody, what's going on? All right. I don't know exactly if there was something going on with the fighter, but I hope everything's okay. He wants to continue, but you know, I don't know. That body language speaks volumes. Don't know what that was all about. Damn. Okay. Jab for jab. Zachariah still in the fight, man. Got to give him some props. Steps in with a 1-2. Zachariah looked a little bit off edge in the corner, but he's walking forward. He's trying to make this a fight. What more can I say? I don't know, champs. What's going on? Oh man. He's definitely got hit with a low one. I think that's what's going on right now. Couldn't really see it, guys, but we'll see it in the replay definitely. Man. There goes Tug with the jab. Oh, overhand right by Tug, but misses. Had a good power on that punch. Jab for jab in the center of the ring. 2 minutes left. Nambayar versus Lucas. Both fighters kind of jabbing each other, slipping off the center line. Okay. 1-2 and a left hook by Zachariah. Throws it with all the might. Lands, but Tug is very strong in punch resistance, man. Jesus, that was a left hook that would have knocked anybody out. Would have knocked out a horse. Tug ran right into that one. I mean, he didn't run into it, but he looked like he did. Jabs are starting to work for Zachariah right now. Starting to get a second win, so to speak. Tug's on the back foot. 1-2. Misses by a mile, Lucas. Has to put more coverage on that jab in order to get in with that right hand. Tug's on the back foot, however. 1-2. Zachariah lands the 2, but it's just for the life of me, it's just hard to judge how hard these shots are because, I mean, they mean nothing to Tug. Absolutely nothing. Slip. Man, Zachariah's coming back.
Stupendous.
Got to give him some. Whoa, what was that? That right hand was going nowhere. Zachariah, you got to put it together a little bit better than that. In the center of the ring, 35 seconds left of the third round. Zachariah Lucas manages to close the round out with some good action. Tug was on the back foot. I think I'll give this one to Zachariah, man. I mean, are you guys judging? Are you on the judge card? Y'all know y'all not on the judge card. What y'all lying for? Oh, 1-2 step in by Tug, covering ground. See, a lot of fighters do this type of punching. Manny Pacquiao, Sergey Kovalev. They throw the 1-2 and end up with a jab to cover that extra distance. And when that last jab comes in, it's a step-in power jab. Comes in with the body. And the round is over. Third round. Let's go, champity champ. What's going on? Zachariah Lucas. Look at this one. Look at this replay. Slip, and then the left hook, then the right uppercut. But the Zachariah left hook meant more than both of those punches that Tug threw. Tug is having plenty of success shifting to the left. Uppercut, and then bomb from down under lands for Zachariah Lucas, man. When you land a good shot, that gives you that extra confidence. Looks like the instructions are being given right now to Zachariah Lucas. He seems to be fine. Didn't think he was fine a little while ago. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we got here. Up and coming, my cards, recent cards. We got Tug. Tug is in the building. This is the fourth round. Gave the third to Lucas. Yeah. You had to give it to Lucas, man. He stepped up on that round. Mr. Steal Your Chin. Que pasa, Mufasa? Let me hit the alarm for the chin. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Tug starting to step forward. Felt like he got disrespected that last round. Needs to step up the game. Starting to walk forward. Jab by Tug. Slipping off that center line. He's having success with that and then throwing that left hook. Zachariah Lucas comfortable in the mid-range. Tug doubling up the jab. Lands one. But having success again with that head movement. As the rounds go by, it's going to be a telling tale to see how Nyambayar does with the head movement combined with that left hook. Step in, double jab. Tug having success with the double jab on Zachariah. Steps in with a mean right. Hand held up high for Zachariah. Blocks it, but a 1-2 gets in. Zachariah steps back, pivoting around the center of the ring. Tug starting to pump it up. Gas is stepped on. Left hook again by Tug. Don't know how flush it landed, but it definitely moved Zachariah. In the tie-up, Zachariah working the body a bit. Tug manages to slip out. Right hand as Zachariah steps in, but doesn't land flush for Tug. These are the type of shots that can end up in knockouts if you run into them. Left hook, wild to the body by Zachariah. Doesn't land flush, but he's starting to throw some more pep. You know, you got to push a guy like Tug back. You let him get comfortable. He's going to keep stepping forward. Tug's on the back foot right now. Stepping, left shovel uppercut for Zachariah. That was an unorthodox way to step in to cover range like that. But would have probably had some more success. Yeah, man. Yo, Mr. Steal Your Chin. I'm in 41 seconds. 40 seconds. What up, champy? Where I'm at? Where you at? I'm in here. Yeah, it's the new channel, champ. This is the Boxing Biz podcast radio show. This is where all the boxing coverage is going to be at. If you guys want to turn into the Alex Doomsday Linus channel, which you guys are already familiar with, you can go ahead and tune in there. I'm going to be vlogging, doing a lot of other cool stuff. So, yeah, catch me here. I'm trying to put a broadcast schedule together. So give me some time as I fall into play with the everyday sketch. All right, guys. I'm going to be posting, trying to get to that 1,000 too, so I could get that community tab, so I'll be able to post and tell you guys what's going on as things develop. So, yeah, appreciate y'all. Cheers. All right, right now they're interviewing Gary Russell Jr. You already know, the champ Dizzle. And he's being asked the important questions, right? How do you manage to come back from a 2-year layoff, you know? And he says that exactly what I believed. You know, he's a bred fighter. This is a lifestyle. This is not something that he does part-time. And, man, his dad is present. God bless, man. That is so. That's got to mean everything to Gary Russell Jr. Got his dad there. All right. Cheap. Let's see what we get from Mr. Gary Russell Jr. tonight. Family's still here. Supporting. Ready to go to war with the young man. Let's go. Fifth round. Gary Russell Jr., Mark Magsayo, main event tonight. Co-main event, Subriel Matias versus Petro Anayasan. I hope I got it right. Man, whoa, Tug and Zachariah Lucas in the center of the ring, and Tug Nambayar unleashes an 11-punch combo, if I even counted him right. Looks like he was going Super Saiyan on that. It's turning up right now. This is midway towards the fight. We're going to have to see something shift. Energy has to shift. Good left hook to the body by Zachariah. Not recommended to jump in like that, but landed it nonetheless. All right. Cheap. What's going on? It looks like Zachariah is starting to gain more confidence. He's not allowing Tug to intimidate him with the volume punching. Right hand for Zachariah. Don't know if it lands. The cameras had his back towards us. Maybe in a replay, if it was a well-placed shot, we'll be able to see it. 1 minute, 45 seconds left of the fifth round. Tug, Nambayar. Oh, 1-2. I don't know, again, if he ran into that. Zachariah might have ran into a right hand, but still stepping forward. You know, when the camera it has these angles, it's hard for you to actually see the fight or shots placed live when the camera's to the back of the fighter. 1 minute, 20 seconds. Zachariah on the back foot. Tug starting to throw more volume on the tie-up right now. Referee got to step in. Hey, let's keep it clean, limpio. Jab for jab for Tug and Zachariah. Jab for jab, champions. Left hook lands for Tug, and Zachariah Lucas on wobbly legs. Oh man. All right. Zachariah Lucas's ability to recover is actually pretty good. It's been a couple of times now that he's been rattled and he manages to stay up. Oh, some inside dirty fighting between both fighters on the grab. Referee steps in, warns both fighters, tells them to keep it clean. No hitting behind the head. Both fighters said, all right, nobody wants to lose a point here. You know what I'm saying?
Woo! Let's go, champ. You feel me?
30 seconds left for the fifth round. Tug on the back foot. Zachariah attacking, moving forward with some hard shots. Steps in with a jab. Lands for Zachariah. Another jab. And he's trying to finish the fight strong on this fifth round. Tug is, I think, ahead on the rounds. I give it a 3-2 so far for this fight. Fifth round is in the bag. Let's go. Cheer. Man. I didn't expect Tug to be fighting this type of fight, y'all. I mean, look, I didn't know nothing about Zachariah. I didn't know. I don't know this guy.
Hey, what happened?
I mean, what do you want me to do? I just didn't know that Zachariah was going to come in here and you know, push Tug back a couple of rounds and unleash some of his own punches. Again, right there. I think the uppercut for Tug landed, and then the left hook landed for sure. And I think it was a balanced shot. He tried to grab. Tug pushed him down. Yep, that was that right uppercut. Well-placed right uppercut by Tug Nambayar on the replay, followed by a left hook. Trying to finish Zachariah. Watch it again on the replay. Right uppercut. Left hook misses. And immediately Zachariah trying to go for the grab. Let's go, champs. Sixth round of a 10-round fight. Zachariah, I don't know how many more punches like that he can take without Tug taking advantage and finishing him. He has to protect his chin. Or if not, you know, they're going to call Tug Mr. Steal Your Chin. Let's go, champ. Nambayar, Lucas in the center of the ring. Nambayar is trying to be crafty, maybe put some punches together. Lucas is just trying to land shots, winging that right hand. Unable to land it. Tug has a lot of pep in his step. He's jumping around the ring with a lot of energy. Throws that right uppercut again. I don't think it lands, but one thing I've noticed about Tug is that every time he lands a shot, he tries to use it again a few more times during the fight. He did it with the left hook, and now I think that he's had success with that uppercut, and he thinks to use it again. He's a smart fighter, you know. At the beginning, I thought he was just an aggressive fighter that had a good pace moving forward, but Tug's starting to think in there. Sakuraya, real tentative, not throwing anything, feigning a lot, giving Tug different looks. Step in left hook by Nambayar, misses wildly with a lot of power, however. Okay, again, step in jab for Tug. Sakurai on the back foot, not throwing anything. Throws a jab. Lets one go. Tug steps in with a double jab, then a lazy left hook around. Doesn't do nothing much with it. A lot of feigning, a lot of arm movement, but I'm not seeing any shots being thrown by either fighter. 1-2 by Sakurai. I think the right hand lands, but Tug able to, you know, swing with it, roll with it. This last shot that landed for Sakurai, I don't know if it was like a forearm or an elbow, man. He's getting really aggressive there. He has to be very careful. 1 minute left of the 6th round. You're tuning in with the Boxing Biz podcast radio show. Your host, Alex Doomsday Linus, the Doomatron. 50 seconds left. Sakurai pumps the jab twice. Lands one of them. On the grab with Tug. Ready to let go. Tug's not even throwing shots. He's waiting for the referee to just break it up. Sakurai can get a little dirty in the tie-up. Ties up again, Sakurai. Our referee has to step in. You know, this tie-up can end up in a bad situation. These guys starts to throw headshots. 1-2 by Tug. Manages to land the jab and end up in a tie-up again with Sakurai Lucas. Both of these fighters just kind of looking at each other as this 10 count goes into the 7th round. All right, guys, 3 seconds left. It looks like we're going into the 7th round. Both fighters walk into the corner. And, man, did you expect that? Stephen Fulton Jr., unified 122-pound champion. Got the camera on him. Got the North Face mink on. That's a dope coat right there. Yeah. Call him Mr. Fashion Man right now. Doing his thing. Stephen Fulton, unified champion. Let's go, champ. All right. We're going into the 7th round, y'all. I don't know if Tug thought he was going to be in the 7th round. Nambayar's corner, John Pullman, the trainer, Andrew Rodriguez Cutman, giving the fighter instructions. Hopefully Tug coming out of this round and maybe put some more combination punches together that they were talking about in the keys of victory, but they have to land. Round has begun. 2 minutes, 53 seconds of the 7th round. Tug Nambayar versus Sakurai Lucas. Cheem! Young Gun TV. Hit the alarm for the champy. Tuning in on the Boxing Biz podcast radio show. You already know, champ. Tug Nambayar looking to
Finish him.
And the Steve Farhood cards. 58-56 for Nambayar. First 3 rounds in the bag, according to Steve Farhood. So I don't see it too far off. And this is the 7th round, so let's see where Sakurai stands in these later rounds. Tug seemingly pumped the jab a lot more right now this round. 1 minute in. A lot of feints. Sakurai pumps his own jab, throws his right hand to the body, not allowing Tug to gain momentum. Can't let Tug gain momentum. He's the type of fighter. He starts to touch it, land some shots. Those big shots can come in and start to land. Twin got 4-2 Tug. All right, Chizzy. That works for me. That works for me. And so far right now, man, Sakuraya has got to watch those overhand rights, man. This is the second time I see him land on the back of the head of Tug. Referee didn't catch that one. But you gotta be careful, man. Those back of the head shots are the most dangerous, man. I worry about those really pretty often, especially when the fighter's starting to lean his left shoulder down. You see another shot to the back of the head, man. Referee's got to start paying attention. Sakuraya, nonetheless, being very aggressive. Tug lands a jab. Doubles it up into a left hook. In the center of the ring. 1 minute left. 53 seconds left of the 7th round, y'all. Left hook. Doubled up by Nambayar. Lands, but not flush enough. Steps in with the left jab, Nambayar. Sakuraya parrying. Steps in with the 1-2. Again, Nambayar slips down, and I'm starting to feel like too many of these shots are starting to land on the back of the head of Tug. Doubled up the jab, Sakuraya. Manages to land that double jab. Tug slips both shots thrown by Sakuraya, and they end up in a tie-up. 20 seconds left of the 7th round. Let's go, champs. Slips. Good slips by Tug. Let's go. No energy lost by both fighters in the 7th round. 3 rounds to go.
DOOMATRON activated.
I'm activated, y'all. I'm having fun. This is a fun fight. Okay. Interviewing Mark Magsayo. A young champ. Well, not literally, but, you know, he is the number 2 WBC featherweight contender. Thought he was number 3. I don't know. Maybe you guys know better than me. Young guy. You know, Manny Pacquiao thinks highly of this kid. Thinks that, you know, Mark has definitely a future in becoming a world champion. And I think he's right. I think Mark Magsayo has the skill set to give a lot of these fighters in his division a lot of problems. Good power. Good step-in power. Able to come back from adversity as we saw him in the Julio Ceja fight. Let me tell you, Julio Ceja fight was fighting a good fight. A tough, very, you know, brutal style that he was giving Mark Magsayo. And, you know, he put him down. But Mark showed what he's made of. And let's get it going. 8th round of a super featherweight bout here. Nambayar versus Lucas. 2 minutes, 49 seconds. Nambayar throwing his jab. 1-2 by Sakuraya. Lucas and drops. Oh, wait a minute. No. Thought Sakuraya dropped him, but it was not a drop. It was a slip. Canvas was wet. Sakuraya starting to get tough on him here. He's starting to get a little dirty there. Starting to push Tug. I'm telling you, Sakuraya is starting to go Orlando Salido in this fight. Trying to throw any power punch in there to try to keep Tug at bay. Tug's playing a smart fight, not looking for help from the referee, concentrating on protecting himself at all times. So far, Steve Farhood has the bout 67-66 for Nambayar. Looks like Sakuraya is starting to close up a little bit, some of this gap. Step-in jabs by Sakuraya Lucas. Tug on the back foot. Overhand right and misses again by Sakuraya. Yeah, Tug. I thought Tug was down. Nah, champy. That was not a knockdown. That was a slippy-o. Sakuraya starting to throw those right hands with mean intentions. I'd rather Tug block them than try to slip away. Sakuraya is swinging away, and as he slips, he manages to graze and hit Tug, man. Maybe I'm seeing things. Who's seeing that? Am I the only one seeing this? Right hand lands by Sakuraya to the body. Inside uppercuts thrown by both men. Again, right hand by Sakuraya, but I don't think it's landing in the right place, y'all. I don't like to see this. Referee's not catching it. What's going on over here? 1 minute left in the 8th round. Both men in the tie-up. Referee again steps in. Referee talking about the back of the head. I don't know if he's telling Tug not to hit Sakuraya or the other way around. Left body shot lands for Tug on the inside. They're in the phone booth, y'all. They're in the phone booth. 1-2 by Sakuraya. Misses. In the tie-up again. The referee breaks it up. Tug complains about something. Don't know exactly what it is. 30 seconds left of the 8th round. Stepping in again into a hold. Sakuraya and Tug. What's going on over here, man? I'm not trying to see this hold in the rest of the 2 rounds.
Hey, what happened?
Stepping on the back foot, doubles up the jab. Tug feints. Sakuraya misses with the right. Triples the jab. Tug. A lot of shots being thrown. I'll tell you this. These fighters are throwing Hail Marys, especially Sakuraya Lucas. And it looks like we're going into the 9th round. This is a 10-rounder. 2 more rounds, y'all. Look at the replay. Look at the replay. 1-2. Oh, okay. That punch really landed in the right place there. I don't know, y'all. He was still on shaky legs after that shot. But I don't know if it was because of the water and that he was on shaky legs. He was definitely on Bambi legs. Wait a minute. Oh, that was a knockdown. Get the hell out of here, bro. Ah, man, that was a slip up for the ref. Come on.
Yeah, move him out of here, Darren.
Get him out of here, bro.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
God. Ah.
I don't give a damn.
Oh, my God. Damn, that was a knockdown, y'all. But they're not going to give it to Sakuraya Lucas, bro. This is the 9th round. That was a knockdown. That would have been an 8th. Ah, man, that would have been a 10-8 round. Wow. Somebody ring the alarm. They stole something. Step in. 2 minutes, 30 seconds of the 9th round. Tug stepping in. And Sakuraya, as we all saw, got that knockdown. I cannot believe the referee missed that one. Listen, being a referee's tough, but missing 2 shots? That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, I wonder if the judges saw it. Who knows? 2 minutes left of the 9th round. Tug stepping in with his double jab. I cannot believe that they messed that up for Sakuraya Lucas, who is definitely the underdog in all this. Come on, champy. Y'all messing up, man. Yeah, messing up. 76-76. Steve Farhood card. Nambayar and Lucas are in a tie, according to Steve Farhood. Which, honestly, guys, I did not expect this fight to go this route. I wasn't calling a knockout or nothing like that, but I would have thought the Tug would have dominated this fight. And it looks like Sakuraya has stepped up the game. Whoa, look at this guy. Throwing some weird, whatever that is. Yeah, don't do that, champ. I'm going to have to add some moderators, y'all. I need some moderators for the chat. You got some trollers trying to troll me and shit. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to get rid of these guys. All right. Less than a minute left in this 9th round. Tug stepping forward. Sakuraya Lucas using the outside of the ring. Gets tagged by 2 jabs. Tug's having success with the jab this round. Yeah, I'm deleting that right now, champion. Call me delete. Call me I deleted. You're deleted. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hit him with the. I'm gonna hit him with the. Hide him. That's it. He's done. He's done, champ. We did him dirty. I'm gonna ask some moderators. Y'all. So stay tuned, everybody that be in the chat. I'm gonna have to, go ahead and find a way where I can, put together the ultimate union. That was the last minute of the 9th round. Sakuraya Lucas walks to his corner, and he's put in the work for these rounds, man. He's been able to keep Tug at bay and even show that he can knock him down, even though that referee didn't catch it, unfortunately. I mean, what are you going to do? It's going to have to be up to the judges now. I mean, wow. You got to ask yourself, right, as a fighter. I mean, how's Sakuraya feeling right now?
Listen, this beyond me.
5-4 tug for Twin. I mean, look, if you're the betting man, I'm going to give you that guap. I'm going to give you those coins. 5-4. We're going into the last round. This is a close one, y'all. I don't think Tug expected this one. And if y'all did, y'all got to let me know where Sakuraya Lucas came from, because even if you look at his record, I mean, who has he fought? Tug's hopping out of that corner, ready to go to war. Looks like Tug has plenty of energy left. No doubt about it. This is the last round, the 10th round. Nyambayar versus Lucas. Let's go, champ. Tug Nyambayar, right to the body. Leaps in with a left to the top. Starting to pump that jab. Both fighters have to make a statement in this, knowing that it is a fight that's closer than most would have thought. Step in jab by Lucas. Kind of funky jab too. Step in 1-2 for Tug. Lucas able to get out of the range. A lot of feints going on in the mid-range. Step in jab for Sakuraya, but runs into a jab from Tug. Okay, leaping right uppercut and then left hook by Tug. Unorthodox shots being thrown to see if anything sticks to the wall for Tug. Call him Tug Master. Mr. Steal Your Chin, 5-4 Tug, but that KD will cause Lucas a loss. Yeah, I mean, look, that's gonna be something that's gonna be spoken about afterwards, unless the judges caught it. I mean, what do you do when this happens? If the referee doesn't catch it and the judges catch it, do you still score it a 10-8 even though the referee missed it? That's a question that we gotta ask. All right, 1 minute 30 seconds left, halfway through the 10th round. Tug Nyambayar and Sakuraya Lucas letting it all go, ending up in a tie-up. Steve Farhood so far in the 9 rounds has 86-85 for Nyambayar. The Tugboat. Double body shot for the Tug. Again, tries to step in with that left hook. Sakuraya with his right overhand. He hasn't had too much success, but when Sakuraya lands that left hook, he's definitely bringing the power meter down for Tug. Jab for jab, center of the ring. Again on the tie-up. 1 minute left. Looks like Tug doesn't want to be in the tie-up. Tapping the Sakuraya like, hey, got to let go. Tug has a lot of energy still. I think Sakuraya right now is on his last power of his meter. But still, throwing his 1-2. Trying to see if maybe that right hand lands and he can make another statement besides the one that the referee missed.
No comment.
Both fighters throw a right hook. They end up on the outside of the arms. All right, guys, we're going into the last 15 seconds of a 10-rounder. Tug versus Sakuraya. Both fighters in the center of the ring. Step in left hook for Tug. Sakuraya manages to slip under it. Let's go, champ. Looks like it's finishing up, y'all. This is a 10-rounder, and it's over. Tug Nyambayar, Sakuraya Lucas. Who got the dub when Steve Farhood had it this close? I think that Tug gets it. Not by a lot, but let's see what the judges saw tonight. They're carrying Sakuraya Lucas on the shoulders, feeling like they won the fight. Coach from Tug says, good job. Sakuraya, very happy with his performance. Let's see where this goes. Maybe you got yourself a Isaac Cruz story, right? That's what we got going right now. You step into this fight. I mean, obviously Tug is not a tank like a tank was to Isaac Cruz, but still, I had it in my sights that Tug would have probably been more dominant. He still boxed a good fight. Sakuraya showed different wrinkles in that fight, showed that he could come back. and place his own shots. See that right hand? Then that left hook right there. It landed, y'all. Well, it wasn't even a left hook. It was like that hybrid left hook jab. I don't know, y'all. I'm going to keep looking at it. From that other angle, it looked like a knockdown. I don't know what to say now. Let's another angle. Let's see it again. Jab lands. Right hand lands. That was a real solid shot by Sakuraya Lucas. But then Sakuraya kind of jabs him. Yeah, he definitely jabbed him. He jabbed him, y'all. He jabbed him. Wow. That's going to be a telltale, man. Right hand lands to that ear. Equilibrium is off. Legs are shaky. And then the jab. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a knockdown. What a shame. What's the matter with this guy? Huh? Come on.
Oh!
What you doing? The guy knocked him down, man. Hey, this is boxing, man. Everybody's human. Referee was human. He showed superhuman. Well, not superhuman, but you know what I mean. He was extra human tonight, missing that knockdown. Show stats: 24% of the jabs land for Tug. That was a good jab flow for Tug. They're in the ring now, waiting for the decision to be read. Let's go, champ. Let's see what the judges had it at. And if you really think about it, you know, this was a fight that probably most didn't think would be so even. And if you did, well then, you definitely are hardcore, because I did not know Sakuraya, not one bit. Let's go, champ. Listen, if it's a draw, I wouldn't be. I mean, it could be a draw. Could be a draw. I'm not saying it can't be, but Tug, I think, you know, he had him on shakier legs twice. I don't know. That knockdown was it. That was the deciding factor. For me, at least. Showbox telecast, you know, they got the whole Bellator thing going over here. I'll probably be dabbling into the MMA, but not just yet, champions. We doing boxing here at the Boxing Biz podcast radio show, so I'm going to stick to it for now. But, you know, I definitely don't mind talking about it. You know, you got Francis Ngannou tonight versus Cyril Gane. Big time fight, big heavyweight fight. So if you're watching it, I'm not mad at y'all, because it's definitely going to be a good fight. I got Francis Ngannou. I just don't think that Cyril's that guy just yet. I think Cyril, to me, is probably not all there in mind, body, and spirit that he can beat Francis. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the humility is just there, and I'm not reading something. But when you get touched by Francis Ngannou, you're in trouble. Okay, both men in the center of the ring, Sakuraya Lucas and Tug Nambayar. Let's see what the decision was. Let's go to the cards at ringside. You know what I mean? Okay, 96-94 in favor of Sakuraya Lucas. Ronald McNair sees it. 96-94 in favor of Tug. Okay. A judge at ringside, Robin Taylor, scores the bout. Holy moly, even. It's a draw. Chin! Yo, Mr. Steal Your Chin. I'm going to have to hit you with the bell. Yo, Mr. Steal Your Chin, you called it. It's a draw. Holy moly. It's a draw. Yo, listen, they needed to give him that draw, bro. They needed to give it to him. He knocked him down. The referee was at us, man. The referee didn't get his 8 hours of sleep. I'm not hating on you, champ. The job is rough. Real time, it's rough. A lot of people don't know the amount of concentration it takes to be in there as a ref. But, yeah, you fell asleep in class on that one. You're getting a D, all right? It's all good, though. The judges saw it a draw, and that's it. Listen, Sakuraya can walk away, obviously, and say to himself that You know, okay, all right. We reported this dude. We're gonna get him out of here. We're gonna remove him. Gonna remove him, and then we're gonna. Yo, Twin, I'm about to rent you up, Champy. They wilding out here. They out here trying to take me out. You see, they sending the bots after me. I'm like Neo. So, Steve Harden, I think it's in the center of the ring, talking to the ref on about the actual knockdown. So, you know, the referee says it's what he saw in real time. He's not from the impact of the blow, but from his body language. Ah, man, they're going in on the referee, y'all. That's it. You got to be accountable. Got to be accountable, y'all. It's over. Look at it. Look at it. He says no. Come on.
You move him out of here.
Come on, ref.
You move him out of here.
What are you doing? Again and again, champ. How many times are they going to show it to you? It was a knockdown, champy. You messed up. You slipped up. Boom, jab. Down goes Tug. Referee says no. And it's the angle. Again, the jab was taken on the left side. And the referee wasn't able to see it. It's okay. I mean, he smacked himself with the towel. He's nervous. Hey, listen, champ. You don't got to smack yourself with the towel, all right? We understand. Listen, we make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to smack yourself with the towel. All right? It was an obvious knockdown. You didn't get it. It's okay, champy. You see the right hook? Sakuraya bringing it from down under, straight from Australia, past Gamboso's chin before it got the Tugs. And then what do you see? Huh? You see the jab. And down goes Tuggy. The tugboat lost its steam. And you ain't catch it. Talking about it wasn't a knockdown. Come on, champ.
Oh, that's some soft-ass shit. Shut that soft-ass shit up.
It's all right, your ref. You know? Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. Steve Farhood put him on Front Street. God, yeah. He said, hey, come here, you. It's all right. Listen, again, guys, real time. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough as a ref. You don't catch everything. Sometimes, you know, things might slip up. You might be in the wrong angle. And what are you going to do? That's all you can do. Ooh. Got my little doggy over here trying to come at me. After traveling with a was that it? Less than a week's notice. God knows. Listen, when these guys come in last notice, man, and put on performances like this, man, you got to give them mad props, no complaints, because it ain't easy. All right, champ. If you didn't know, it ain't easy coming in the last minute. You know what I'm talking about. Come in last minute, you cook bacon.
You've seen him, you know how strong he is.
Tug is a strong fighter. Shout out to Sakuraya Lucas. I'm a fan. Could have cleaned up a couple of those 1-2s a bit. Maybe, you know, throw him a little different. But I got to see a little bit of what his style is. And listen, he gave Tug a fight. What am I going to do? Ivan G, shout out to you, champion on the chat, joining the DOOMATRON here on the Boxing Biz podcast radio show. Make sure everybody hit the like button, hit that notification bell, man. As we grow as a community. I'm out here, y'all. Step up the game. You know what I'm saying? Where y'all want to see me at? Y'all want to see me at the beach? Because I'll go to the beach right now. All right, champs? I'm at the beach, y'all. Chill, Chizzy. I'm enjoying life right now. I got the waves behind me. I just teleported right now. Yo, Twin, you know why they took long to get them scores in? They had to really talk about it. Like, listen, the referee ain't call it, but keep it real. He knocked him down. You saw it. I saw it. What are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You see that left hook in the beginning, though. Man, I thought that was going to be the one that finished Sakuraya Lucas, and I was wrong. But when he hit Sakuraya Lucas with that one, I'm telling you, he was get him out of here style. Shout out again to the chat. Everybody tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Tell a friend about the show, the Boxing Biz podcast show. I'll be up here giving you the coverage and the best in boxing. Got some things coming up for you guys, putting it together. Make sure that you guys can depend on a consistent schedule. You already know you guys support me on the Alex Doomsday Linus show, and I appreciate y'all to the fullest. You can catch me there, vlogging, doing reviews, giving advice. We're still trying to mold it up, right? We're still trying to mold it up. Obviously, I'm still going to be kicking out little things here and there in boxing, keeping you tuned in. But for the real juicy stuff for the boxing, I'm going to be here on the Boxing Biz Podcast YouTube channel. And get ready, because I'm going audio big time for all my friends out there, all my peoples who can't get the opportunity to actually sit down and watch some of these episodes. I'm going to be tuning in to you, audio style, Spotify, all the good stuff. Stay tuned. I'll be putting in the descriptions. Again, the DOOMATRON landing on his feet, running. And let's go back to the Showtime Championship Boxing telecast, giving Gary Russell Jr. a little bit of a shine right now in time. And again, you know, he's there in the corner for his brothers, for his younger brothers. And, you know, he is the older brother, man. Sort of like the leader, right? Got the younger brothers, man, that definitely can take a lot of advice from the experience also. But like I said, a fighting family. And not no stranger to discipline and grit. Look up to Big Bro. Who got a chance to see Gary Russell Jr. hunting and quartering an elk or some giant deer? Like, this is a real deal hunter. Like, you know, when he goes in there with his, you know, with his ensemble, his dress up gear or whatever you want to call it, look like he just hunted a bear and just made garments from them. I mean, the dude's really, really a warrior hunter mentality. You got to admire that kind of mentality, especially when you're fighting in the ring. Straight warrior status. And I wonder who's next up, guys. I'm thinking it's going to be Subriel Matias versus Petros Anayang. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I was actually excited about it, especially after I saw the weigh-ins yesterday. Make sure that if you didn't catch that weigh-in show, go ahead and click on the Boxing Biz YouTube channel icon and go to the playlist. It's up there. That's going to be definitely a fight that I'm going to enjoy. Like I did Tug and Sakurai, I didn't think that this was going to be a matchup that was going to be so evenly matched up. Turned out to be okay. And now we're going to get Subriel Matias, who I like his fighting style. Dude's very aggressive, you know. He's in there to just hit you with bombs. Boy don't play. And I'm talking about his combinations is killer combinations, champy. Killer combinations. Who we got up on the telecast here? Okay. Payano. All right. I think that was oh no, that was Pitufo they had on the telecast. Pitufo was fighting. Was it Pitufo? I don't know who Gary Antoine Russell was fighting. I didn't catch that fight either, man. I'm gonna have to go back on the playback, champies. Again, we got my man, Mr. Gary Russell Jr., speaking on both his brothers being victorious in their fights and taking the next step as they rise in their careers. But it's a question mark right now over your head, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. There's a question mark, champ.
Hey, what happened?
We need to know. We need to know, champ, if you got another one in the chamber. Do you got another one? Are you ready to let the bombas go, champ? Gotta let it go on this one. Mark Magsayo wants to become the WBC World Featherweight Champ. Can he do it? I don't know. Too much support, too much love right now going on. Mr. Gary Russell Jr. getting ready. And who is that right now in the back that's going to be cornering Gary Russell Jr.? I want to say, listen, I can't hear the actual telecast right now, but If I wasn't mistaken, that looked like Freddie Roach, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. The angle that I'm watching it. What are you guys seeing? Oh no, that's not Freddie. No. At least I don't think so. All right. That was Santiago, who drawed one with twin. Okay. Can't wait to the Thurman versus Barrios fight. Neither do I, bro. Listen, that's gonna be a good fight. I did a take on that fight not too long ago. Super lightweight bout, 12-rounder for Subriel Matias. I thought it was a 10er, but it's a 12er for Petro Anayasan versus Subriel Matias. Let's go, champ. It's going to be a fun fight. We already know what we're getting with Subriel. Dangerous fighter. Avoided, you might say, even. That's right. Unfortunately, you bring him back to some of the fights he's had, and we had a tragedy in the Dasiev fight with Subriel. But you could admire his style. Aggressive, power hitter. Not afraid to trade in the center. He has good short shots. Subriel Matias is going to look to showcase all of this and more in tonight's fight versus Petro. Mario Barrios, Keith Thurman. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good fight. Listen, Keith coming back hasn't had too much. Is this another fight between Petro? Look at this. Another fight between Petro and Subriel, man. See, if y'all would have asked me, like, yo, Doomy, but they fought already. You ain't see the last one? Yeah, man. It was a unanimous decision. I didn't see it. I saw highlights on it. So I was actually, not up to par right now with this fight. It's crazy because, Subriel did lose. Petro showed a lot of grit, good endurance and conditioning. So, oh man, even on the embrace, Subriel was not happy, man. Well, he has a chance to flip the script and maybe stop Petro or win a decision. Petro might just, leave off on the last foot he left on, and continue that onslaught that he was able to keep up, that high pace. Petro Anayasan in the ring, shirts off, gloves on, fight's ready to start. We're at the co-main event. Co-main event of this fight. Let me just zoom back to reality now. All right, I'm going to go to the castle, y'all. I'm back in the castle. I'm back in the cribbo. Let's go, champ. Well, what's up with this love face XYZ, whatever the hell this is, man? I'm going to have to hide this dude. I'm going to hide him. I just hit him, y'all. I need my moderators on the chat. Got to remove these cats. Whoa, got my dog hacking over here. You all right there, buddy? Wow, look at this guy. You all right? My dog was hacking over here. You all right there, buddy? It's okay. I'm in the castle right now. I got the super dog. You all right? Man, gotta get the doggy some water there. Cupcake. Got my boy passing out over here. All right, 29 years old for Subriel, 33 for Petro. Both on the same height. Not much of a difference in reach, 2 inches, which I think happens to be probably 1 inch on each side. No 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Fight official after the end of round 4. Let's go. Vamos, campeón. Vamos, campeón. You already know. Everybody put your hands in the air. Jimmy Lennon Jr. in the center of the ring. This is the Borgata Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Premier boxing champions. Champ. This is a round 2, y'all. This is a tough one for both fighters. Petro got to make sure he nails that last nail in the coffin, and Super L got to let it be known, like, yo, that was all a mistake, champ. I was off that day. All right. Referee in the ring. I like the color of her shirt, too. It's not the traditional light blue referee shirt. I like that color, though. Looks good. It's 12 rounds of boxing, champs. Petro knocking the hammers together, ready to go. Geronimo. Yo, who the heck is Love Face? Call you Love Nothing. Who is that? Who is that? All right, steal your chin. I hear you, champy. I hear you, champy. I hear you, champy. We got Super Matias in the ring. Petro and Nayasa. Who y'all got, man? Let me just throw out the poll. Who gonna win, champs? ¿Quién va a ganar? Yo. All right, look, I'm gonna close this poll. All right, there's an hour. There's an hour already. There's an hour left. No, there was an hour that this poll stood. The poll read, Gary Russell Jr. wins by TKO. 77% of you guys said that he does by TKO. 23% of you don't believe that this will happen. Overwhelming amount, if you ask me, champ. I thought Mark Magsayo had the chance to go the distance.
Hey, what happened?
All right, I'm going to end that poll. Petros, Subriel, center of the ring. And I'm going to have to say, who's going to be the aggressor? Who's it going to be? Can't you see? All right. Who will be the aggressor? All right, guys. Who? It's about to go down. Both fighters center of the ring. If I'm not mistaken, it is Miss Mary Glover as the referee. 6-year referee. And the fight has begun. Petro, Subriel, center of the ring. Finding their range. Petro stepping in with some jabs. Sort of using it as a finding the range. Okay, damn. Petro threw a right hand there. I don't know if it landed or not, but already trying to close that gap. Subriel having success with a jab. Doubles it up. All right. Range finders, jab for jab. Tappity tap. Nothing crazy. Both fighters center of the ring. 2 minutes, 10 seconds of the first round. That's what we expect. Already on the inside, both of these fighters. Oh, man. Already in the center of the ring, y'all. Ready to trade shots. Short jabs, too. Petro is not afraid to be on the inside with Subriel. I think he actually welcomes it and wants it. Subriel has to be very careful not to get into the same type of firefight that he was getting into this last round. He has to show more rhythm. Doubles up the jab, Subriel. Finding some success. Very close range. Again, Petro stepping in with his own left. Going jab for jab with Subriel. Halfway through this round. And it looks like both of these fighters are very comfortable in that mid-range to phone booth range. I think this fight might have somebody's going to have to take it somewhere else. Somebody's going to have to create some range on this fight. Starting to look like it's going to be one of these phone booth fights. Once it reaches the 4th round, we're going to be in a heavy fire fight. Petro touching him. Content with just tapping into that short range. Jab. Subriel with a nice hard jab. Subriel steps back. Felt that jab. At least that's what the body language said. Petro kind of pushes Subriel back, trying to bully him. Subriel on the ropes. Petro happy and content to keep him there. Combination punching. Double left hook for Subriel. Off the ropes. Very close fight again. on the short range. Okay, we're coming into the end of this round. First round of a 12-round fight. 10 seconds left. Petro continues to throw his jab on the short range. Subriel lands a left hook. And we're out of the first round. This is an interesting fight thus far. Both fighters too comfortable. Almost like they already knew their range. Didn't even have to think about it. They're already in range. These guys know exactly what they got to do. They kind of welcome each other's styles. Let's see what the keys to victory are according to the telecast here. It says, find your jab. Combinations galore. Whoa, look at this guy. Combinations galore, he says.
Oh, look at this guy.
All right. That's always the key to victory. Combination punches. All right, keys to victory for Anayan for the telecast says start faster. That's exactly what he just did. More left hooks. I'm seeing more left jabs. I don't think that he's abandoning the jab because that's the third one they got for his keys to victory. He's actually thrown plenty of jabs. All right. Looks like we're going into the second round. Let's go, Champy. All right. The poll's up for everybody watching. Who will be the aggressor? Who will be the aggressor? All right. That was the poll. The last poll. I mean, this poll that we're going to have right now. Who will be the aggressor? Subriel Matias or Petro Anasayan? You got to see the first round. I'm saying Petro's the aggressor right now. I think he's pushing Subriel back on the back foot. He's able to kind of, nudge Subriel off of him. Telling me that he's, maybe the stronger fighter. Jab for jab in the center of the ring. Subriel, Matias, Petro Anayasan. Hope I'm getting that one right. Both exchanging jabs. Looks like Petro might have somewhat of swelling on the right eye. I gotta see if I can get a closer look at that. Right hand thrown by Petro gets through the guard of Subriel Matias. Again, both guys exchanging short shots on the inside. Jab to the body by Subriel, immediately covering up with a high guard on the inside. Petro just easing up. Easy does it. Easy does it. Walking in. Jab, jab. 1-2, 1-2. Very, very, very calm on the inside range. A lot of head movement. A lot of slipping. Throwing the left hook. Doubling it up. A lot of mushing going on by Petro, though. I don't know if the referee's going to catch that eventually. I don't know if he's just doing that to create space. Well, of course he's doing it to create space, but how much you can get away with it depending on how you're doing it. If you're able to nudge him with the elbow, you can kind of get away with it in the position your arm is. But when you're just kind of shoving somebody back, those start to become warnings. Whoa, Subriel Matias with a double shovel uppercut. One of them might have been a little low. Both fighters on the inside. Less than a minute to go in the second round. 1-2 by Petro. 1-2, 3-4 by Subriel. Petro managing to slip a lot of these shots. Left hook to the body up top. Left uppercut by Subriel lands. Again, guys, this fight is being fought on the inside in the booth. It's this fight left off. It picked up where it left off. Double left shovel uppercut for Subriel Matias. Having success there. Petro pushing forward like a steam engine, throwing his own shots. Looks like we're going to be going into the third round. 10 seconds left of the second round. A lot of body contact, a lot of pivoting, a lot of mushing. These guys are really, really, really starting to show what the rest of this fight is going to look like. That's the end of the second round, guys. Cheer! This is a good one. Oh, Vitor, not Vitor like Vitor. Vito Milianecki Jr., 10-1-7. Actually closed out last year in, an astonishing amount of people that tuned into this fight. Shout out to Vito Milianecki for doing his thing on the end of the year fight that we had at 2020-21. Matias corner, Jacob Nahar, trainer and cutman. Carlos Duarte, assistant. And Felix De Jesus as the interpreter, obviously. I'm not able to hear exactly what they're saying, but you guys got my back, right? Cheer. Petro, Subrael, third round. Can't wait to get into the center of the ring and pick up where they left off. So far, jab for jab. Double jab for Subrael, trying to take it to the body. This is the co-main event. Main event coming right up after this. Gary Russell Jr., Mr. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo, Philippine phenom boxer that's getting ready or wants to get ready to take his position as one of Filipino's greats as he rises in his journey. Again, Petro showing a lot of movement, head movement. Subrael throwing body shots, trying to maybe slow down some of that head movement that Petro has. It's very good head movement. Double right hand for Petro. One of them lands. Left uppercut to the body lands for Subrael. Man, this fight is being fought literally in a phone booth, guys. Literally in a phone. Excuse me. Literally in the phone. What the? These guys are not. These guys body contact 90% of the round. 90% of the round, they're leaning on each other. The body contact. There is no rhythm and boxing outside the ring for these guys. These guys are literally fighting for that centerpiece of the ring. This is the third round, y'all. We're more than halfway through the third round. Same story. Petro, Subrael Matias throwing heavy shots on the inside. Petro manages to graze Subrael with that left hook, which I think for Petro is a money shot. Subrael doubles up the left uppercut, then steps back in with a jab after Petro kind of mushes him. They're ending up in a firefight, guys. Ah, man. I don't know if this fight's going to go 12 rounds. This is a grueling pace and a grueling style to keep up. Again, center of the ring, in the phone booth, Petro, Subrael. Both of these guys willing to trade. Petro has a good style for this inside fight, though. I don't know if Subrael. I don't know if this style favors Subrael. I think Subrael should use his range a little bit more, and his height just a little bit more, and it is not a huge difference. Because the box rec says 5'9", but I mean Subrael just looks a little bit taller, but not enough for it to matter, obviously. But I think that Petro's inside fight game is a lot more effective. His shots land. Wow, what's going on? I thought the referee was stopping the fight because she wanted to, but it looks like the guys wanted to keep fighting past the bell. You're starting to see what happens in these fights. Third round only, and you're starting to see swelling and bleeding in Petro and Anayans. I don't know why I called him Anasayan. I'm going to have to fix that poll, but we riding with it for now. Who will be the aggressor? That's the poll that's up right now on the chat. If you're tuning in with us on the YouTube digital, go ahead, answer that. Who will be the aggressor? So far, man, it looks like both of these guys are the aggressor. On the replay, Subrael lands the jab. Lands the left hook off the jab. And I think that's the punch that caused some of that bleeding and that swelling on Petro. Subrael also showing some swelling on the left eye. This is the type of fight, champs. This is the type of fight you're getting here. They don't care. You feel me?
I don't give a damn.
We're going to fight in the phone booth. Fourth round of a 12-rounder. Both exchange shovel uppercuts up the middle. Whoa! Left uppercut, left hook for Petro. Throws it with bad intentions, but Subrael manages to throw his own shovel uppercuts and jabs. Left uppercut for Subriel, followed by Petro's left hook. It's going to be the war of the left hook with the left uppercut. Left uppercut working for Subriel. Left hook working for Petro. Double left hook. Whoa, for Subriel. We're in the phone booth. And there's a fire. Both guys exchanging some good shots. In the center of the ring. Well, not in the center, but looks like Subriel has to pick those up. He threw a right shovel uppercut that was a little under that belt line. Doubles it up again. Petro stays in the phone booth. Throws his jab. Gives him that little nudge with the elbow. Check to see Petro do that throughout the fight. He's been doing it the last 3 rounds. Creates space. Right body shot lands for Petro. Subriel going through the motions on the inside. Throwing combinations. Parrying some of the shots that are being thrown by Petro. It's a non-stop pace, ladies and gentlemen. Multiple combinations being thrown by both fighters. It's a fun fight. Definitely a fun fight for the boxing fan. But a grueling pace for either fighter. Left body shot for Subriel. Let's go. Chee! Listen, I don't even need to tell you guys anymore. I think I'm going to have to close this poll, man. It's been 10 minutes up there, but I don't think I need any more. Who will be the aggressor? You guys say Petro. Nobody else tapped in. Or if not, everybody just thinks, Petro is that aggressor. But from what I've been looking at, both of these guys are being aggressive. But Petro seems to be in love with this pace. He's starting to catch a lot of shots right now. Subriel, hopefully his conditioning holds up. This pace for 12 rounds can really, really take a toll. Again, Petro throwing his uppercuts, nudging, creating space, pivoting, stepping away to be able to create that space for the left hook. They throwing, bro. You know what I'm saying? They throwing, champ.
Listos pe los chingazos. Listos pe los chingazos.
That's it. And that's the end of the 4th round. Steve Farhood in the seats, front row with your main man's in them, Jaron Ennis. That's right, Jaron Boots Ennis. El Campeon, hit the air horn for him. Botas in the building. You catch these Botas. Number 3 WBA and IBF, number 5 WBO, and number 6 WBC welterweight contender. Mr. Run away from me while you can, because once I get in that phone booth, your ass is mine, right? Jaron Ennis, power hitter, great combination puncher, and I think that his time is coming very, very soon. They can't run away. They can't say no for too long. Botas in the building. Let's see what's up next. I got to make my way over to Jaron's, man. Let's go, champ. I'm out here, Jersey. Need to touch down in Philly, y'all. This is the 5th round of a 12-round contest. Both men, Petro and Subriel, in the middle of the ring. Trading off jab for jab. Uppercut for uppercut. Not afraid to stay in the center of the ring and trade. Guys are throwing some heavy leather. Leaning on each other. Fighting that inside fight. How long can they do it? It's a 12-round fight, y'all. Conditioning got to be amazing for this type of pace. I'm going to end that poll because both of these fighters are the aggressor. But you guys did choose Petro for this one. Let's go, champ. All right. Jab for jab. Jab for jab. Left hook lands for Gabriel. Petro using that elbow to create space. I don't know. That elbow, is that elbow a problem? I got to ask y'all, man. Is the elbow nudge excessive for Petro? You know what I mean? Is the elbow nudge being used excessively, man? I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm not the only one watching the fight. You guys got to let me know. Right now, these fighters are in the center of the ring, trading left hooks, shovel uppercuts up the middle. So many punches being thrown. Good thing about this fight, though, is that Subriel is managing to catch some of these, or most of these shots on the gloves. But every now and then, one of these hard shots slips in. Double left uppercut to the gut by Subriel. Looks like Subriel went back to the drawing board after that last encounter and definitely practiced and trained for this inside fight in order for him to protect himself a lot more, because Petro, as much shots that he's throwing, not all of them are getting in. But nonetheless, Petro is having success with keeping that range at his best and throwing these left hooks. Mean left hooks, man. Mean. Subriel manages to catch Petro on the back foot, but if it were, I don't know. I think Petro's starting to gain some momentum here, and Subriel's starting to kind of waver. He's on the ropes. He's in the corner. Referee steps in. Petro nudges him again, throws the right hand. Subriel lands his own right, shovel uppercuts, and then a right to the top. Is the elbow nudge being used excessively by Petro? You guys tell me. Poll is going up. I need to know. Let's go, champ. Last seconds of the 5th round. Both fighters exchange good shots. Referee steps in. Cheer. New poll is up. New polls is, yo, look at the nudge. He nudges, throws that right uppercut. Both of them kind of blocked each other out, nullified each other. There it goes. Double body shot by Subriel. Has some success there. He tells him to pick it up. I mean, it was a little low. Not too low. I felt like it was right on the belt line. I mean, let's take a second look at it, guys. Come on. Come on. Let's see. Let's see. Here it comes. Shovel. Ah, they souped me up. They took it off, man. What are they doing over here? All right, here it goes. Left shot by Petro. Right hand by Subriel. Another left shot by Petro. Doesn't get flush in there. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, Mr. Steal Your Chin. Like, is it being used excessively? Do you feel like that's a problem? I mean, I don't really got too much of a problem with it. What I do have a problem with is the actual shoving with both hands extended forward. I don't have too much of, I don't got too much qualms with that left elbow kind of nudging, create space. I've used it. Plenty of fighters use it. But sometimes it can get a little high. It can become like a problem, cuts and stuff like that if it goes up too high. But great way to use the elbow for Petro to be able to create space in this fight that's being literally fought in a phone booth. Again, both fighters, I mean, literally head to head. Surprised that, there hasn't been any head bumps. Petro doesn't mind staying in this range. Subriel welcoming him and throwing some of his own shots. Petro, I think, looks to be in this range, throws some throwaway punches, as many as he can, just to touch Subriel, and then manages to land one of those important shots. And those are the shots that start to deteriorate a fight over a 12-round fight. Every now and then, every 30 seconds, you get hit with a hard one. Those add up, champies. I mean, Twin, I'm fine with the elbow. Okay, champ. Let's go, champ. Put your hands in the air, right? Let's go. It is halfway through the 6th round of a 12-rounder. Petro, Subriel, throwing shots, exchanging shots. I mean, this is a sort of, just put two Orlando Salidos together. This is what I'm seeing right now. I'm talking about Devastation Nation. Anybody in this fight can get it. Anybody.
DOOMATRON activated.
We activated, y'all. Live fight chat here. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo is the main event. This is the co-main. Subriel Matias versus Petro Anayan. This is the second encounter. Subriel lost his first encounter to Petro. Let's see if he can make a change. This is halfway through the fight. He has to create a different look. Petro is satisfied and content to keep this pace, to stay in this range. Right hand lands for Petro. Subriel on the ropes. Whoa. Come on, champy. Don't stay on the ropes, Subriel. Subriel's on the ropes. Lands his own double uppercut, however. Left hook lands for Petro. Subriel throws his own combination. Lands for him. Subriel is, seemingly okay with staying on the ropes. Good composure. I don't want to see him on the ropes. Chill, Chizzy. Chill, Chisel. Where we going? Let's go to the palm trees. I'm out of the castle, y'all. I teleported for the 7th round. Petro in the corner. I see some chest compressions, y'all. High intense fight. But Petro's okay. Doesn't seem like he's breathing too hard. A lot of combination punching. Voice of Albert Petro Cian is the interpreter. So for all the champions out there who speak the foreign language, the native language of Petro. All right, Subriel manages the right uppercut. Petro throws the left, lands on the glove, doesn't do anything with it. Right uppercut by Petro. Subriel Matias. Holy moly. Guacamole. Telling you, those uppercuts, man, over a time span will pay their dividends. Petro loves this fight on the inside. I'm telling you, y'all. Let's go, champ. We're in the 7th round. Both men giving it their all. Same style fight that you saw from the first encounter. Ooh, looks like Petro might have gotten hit. Low. Oh, whoa. Shout out to the referee who takes a point. Already had warned Subriel to watch those shots. Petro is definitely hurting. That was definitely a low blow. We'll get to see it on the replay after this round. Right hand left, then followed by a double shovel uppercut by Matias. Petro on the inside throws his own combination. Yeah, man, that was a point deduction, Champy. A little too low. And Steve Farhood has this fight, Matias 59, Anayan 55. Whoa. Okay. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know what to say. 59, 55. I don't know.
Hey, what happened?
I think I would have gave Petro a little bit more than that, Champy. Petro's been walking forward, even though Subriel is fighting pretty well off the back foot, throwing good combination punches. But Petro is putting a lot of pressure on Subriel. Subriel again content to be on the ropes, y'all. He don't care. No me importa. Say what? Nah, he really cares. But he's just comfortable. He's comfortable there. He's comfortable fighting on the back foot. And that's how you fight an aggressive fighter. If you know how to fight on the back foot, you could catch him running into something. And Subriel right now, sure enough, is fighting on the back foot, throwing combinations. Petro leaning on him, putting pressure as he's been doing the last 6 rounds. Both men leaning on each other in the center of the ring. Close combination punching. Right hand lands for Matias. Left hook lands to the top for Petro. An all-out war. This is an all-out war, y'all. Cheer! These guys are going for the kill. I cannot for the life of me believe that they're going to keep up this pace all 12 rounds. This is excellent conditioning. No fighter yet is showing signs of fatigue. A lot of punches being thrown. Subriel Matias on the ropes. Petro putting pressure, throwing hooks, creating that space. Both Subriel Matias and Petro Anayan throwing multiple combinations. It's amazing the punch output that both these fighters. Petro lands double right hooks to the top. Subriel trying to throw his own shovel uppercuts and fighting off the ropes. And that's the end of 7th round. Oh, champ. Yo, they're throwing some after. Oh, man. It goes to the replay. Watch this. Okay. Let's see if this shot was low. Did it happen or didn't it happen? I don't know. I didn't get to see that. That's not the angle to see that punch. Call you punchy. I don't even think we're going to be able to see it with that. Let's see it again. Left hook lands for Subriel in that replay. Yeah, that definitely landed on the faceage. What are we looking for that uppercut to the groin? Nah. No, buddy. Petro throwing his combinations, lands that right hand. Subriel throws his own combinations. Petro loves being on the inside. I don't want Subriel to be too content to stay on those ropes, but we are going into the 8th round of a 12-round contest here on Showtime Championship Boxing. Matias, Anayan. Cheer. Let's go. Who do you got? Point deduction? Yeah, it was a point deduction champion. Yo, Troy. Shout out to Troy. Smoke the alarm. Hit him with the alarm. Shout out to Troy. Smoke alarm. Yeah, I'm in the island. Call me Island Boy. Whoa. Multiple combination thrown by Subriel. Petro manages to kind of parry some of those punches. Again, these guys putting pressure on each other. Go to the poll, y'all. The poll is the elbow nudge being used excessively by Petro? So far, 71% of you guys say yes. 29% say no. All right. Looks like the nudging is being too nudgy. Get it out of here. No more nudge.
I don't give a damn.
Yeah, I think that's what the referee's on right now. She definitely doesn't care. It's not that serious. I think the elbow becomes dangerous when it starts to go up too high and, you know, you leave it out there too long. A fighter can come in with his own punch, maybe run into it, cut, you know. But it doesn't seem to be being used in that matter by Petro. All right, we're halfway through the 8th round already. Both men still in the center of the round. These fighters make the ring the center of the round and any place in the ring. Multiple combinations being thrown. Right hand lands for Subriel. Both leaning on each other. This is a bob and weave fight. This is a slip fight. Slip off the center line. Bob and weave. Both fighters landing their own shots. This is Sparta. This is war right now. Both fighters throwing combinations in the center of the ring. Imposing their wills. We're going into that last minute, y'all. Petro throws that 1-2 combination. Sort of like a hybrid hook jab. I don't even know what I just saw. I think it was a hook, matter of fact. Very fast. A lot of leverage. He's throwing it multiple times, but Subriel is not giving in. Throwing his own 3-punch combinations. Making sure that Petro knows that he's not going anywhere. Multiple combinations being thrown. Right hand lands for Subriel in that exchange. Hit him with the... I haven't seen this many combinations being thrown. I don't know what was the last fight that I seen this many combinations, y'all. I mean, leaning on each other. Left shovel uppercut lands for Subriel Matias. Triple combo. At the end of that round. Damn. A lot of speed, y'all. A lot of speed being displayed right now. A lot of speed. Let's go, champ. All right, Subriel Matias. Felix De Jesus is the interpreter, so I could get a grip on what's being told to Subriel Matias in that corner. The rounds are coming. You have to keep doing the work. That's what they keep saying. You got to keep doing the work. The body's always the key, right? That's how you slow guys down. You got to concentrate on those shots to the liver, the spleen, the floating ribs. It's the only way to slow guys down. Guys like Petro, you got to slow him down. He's a bulldozer. He ain't going nowhere. Vamos, campeón. All right, we're entering the 9th round. Both Petro Anayan and Subriel Matias giving it their all. Again in the center of the ring. I'm going to end that poll. The poll was, is the elbow nudge being used excessively by Petro? And the community says 62% said yes, 38% said no. So we're going to leave it at that. Champ. Steve Farhood card reads 78-73 for Subriel Matias. I guess Subriel Matias is landing more shots. Double left body shot lands for Subriel. Another hard shot lands up top. Oh, my God. Subriel Matias starting to have success with some of these hard shots. Petro is slowing down a bit right now. Subriel needs to put the foot on the gas. 5-3 Matias for twin. Let's go, champ. I'll give you the applause. All right. What's going on now? Okay, Subriel, you can't step off the gas, champy. Petru starts to come back. Leaning on Subriel. Not too many punches thrown now. I think you're starting to see some of these guys start to slow down. 9th round already. Left hook lands for Petro. He throws a double mean hook. One right to the body, left up top. Subriel slipping, bobbing and weaving. Already halfway through the 9th round. Let's go, champy. Subriel touching the body. 2 to the top for Subriel. Short shots. These are not crazy, hard-hitting shots. Every now and then they'll throw a hard hitter, but these are short exchanges. Jab lands to the rib for Subriel. Petros trying to keep up the pace with pushing them back, but another right hand lands for Subriel. Left hook lands for Subriel. Man, this fight is crazy, y'all. They both threw each other into the wood chipper. Left hand to the body lands for Subriel Matias. Left hook lands for Petro. Both fighters exchanging some hard shots. Looks like both fighters have Novocaine in those chins because none of them are going down. Subriel on the ropes. Throws off the ropes. Hits Petro with a 1-2. That's all I'm seeing all day. Killer combos, y'all. Killer combos by Petro and Subriel Matias. Jab lands for Subriel. Left hooks lands for Subriel. Nice exchange right now in the center of the ring. Good head movement by Petro. Subriel tags the body again. I'm starting to see more body shots landing for Matias. This is... Oh! Left hook lands for Subriel Matias. Holy moly!
Finish him.
Hits Petro with a good shot, knocks him down. Petro is he's better take his time with that 8 count. What's going on? Don't do it. Don't do it, Petro. She will stop the fight if you don't give her the right signs, just like any good ref would. Fight stops. Petro is saved by the bell on that round because he is on shaky legs, doesn't know how to sit down. Holy moly.
Yeah, move him out of here.
Man, Petro's not looking too good right now. On shaky legs. Damn. That was a hard hit.
Oh!
That was a hard hit, y'all. Petro's in trouble. Petro's in trouble right now. Referee, doctor in the ring. They got to make sure that they're doing the right thing.
To this day.
This fight may be stopped, y'all. This fight may be stopped. What's going on? I don't know what's going on. You tell me. I'm about to teleport back to the bricks, y'all. I'm going to the bricks. That's it. Fight, I think, is over. Fighter cannot continue. What's going on? I see the ice pack or the eyes being tended to. You got it, guys. This is a stoppage by Subriel Matias. He gets his revenge and finishes and does his dance.
Finish him.
Finish him. Chin. They call in the fight. They called it, Mr. Steal Your Chin. They called it. Finished it. Got it back. 1 for 1. Both fighters. Who wants to see a number 2? This is like a Mickey Ward. What's my man's name? Man, it slipped my mind. But y'all know who I'm talking about, man. This is a trilogy type of fight. This is the type of fights that you want to see. Petro got the better of Subriel last fight. Subriel came back, did his thing. Happy for the victory. Damn.
No comment.
Got no comment, champ. You know, this is warrior status, warrior stuff. I ain't got nothing to say, champy. Petro, man. I thought Petro was really going to, do the same thing again, but Subriel Matias' punches were a little bit cleaner, and he was able to do the do, take care of things, and get the dub, man. Real happy, real content, doing the dance. Can't be mad at him. This was a hard-fought win. Not easy to keep up this pace. It's not an easy pace to continue. So, big shout-out to Subriel Matias getting the dub. Taking care of business against Petro. Where does he go from here? I don't know. Shout-out to Al Nadimzi Yahia, watching from the Philippines. Shout out to you, champ, for tuning in. Shout out to the Philippines, Philippine boxing. You guys got a good fighter tonight, taking on a veteran and the champion in Gary Russell Jr. That replay of that left hook right now that was just shown by Subriel Matias was a very, very hard shot to take. A lot of leverage on that shot. I'm not mad at Petro. They both were already taking combination punching. So a shot like that can be a real game changer in the later rounds. And that's what happened to Subriel Matias. He was able to hit Petro with that super hard shot. I mean, it looked like Petro got hit by a motorcycle bike. Sped away. Okay, Twin, who you got? You got the Matias KO. Now need the Magsayo win. All right, Champy. Listen, I want you to make the skrilly. I want you to make the ducky. The ducats are in the building. So I hope you get that. So you got Magsayo winning tonight, Twin. All right. Listen, got a couple of guys that got him winning, man. Let's go, Champy. All right. Let's see how long in between this fight we're going to have the champ making his way into the ring, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. As you can see, the doctor looking for the right signs, and Petro not able to give her the right signs in order for her to allow him to continue this bout. It's a good stoppage. Sometimes we do have to save the fighters from themselves because the heart is there. The heart doesn't lack. Subriel Matias victorious in this fight. So we got a draw and then a stoppage or a TKO or a RTD. Thus far, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo. What are we going to get from them? I'll tell you what we're going to get. Let me just tell you what we're going to get. Yeah, we're listos. Get ready for the real thing, man. There we go. Matias, 33% of his jabs land. Did a heck of a job. I think Petro had me with the illusion that he was winning more rounds. Not more rounds than Subriel, but winning a little bit more rounds because of the pace he was keeping and, pushing Subriel back. But Subriel managed to box on his back foot pretty damn well and connect some good shots and not allow Petro to gain momentum with any hard combinations. There you go. Subriel Matias victorious. Cheer. You already know. All right, y'all. Dame un segundo, mundo. All right. Sorry for that little delay. You know, the champ, he got no co-host. So, you know, if I got to take a bathroom break, you know what I got to do. I got to leave you out here solo, dolo, molo. But I'm going to be taking care of that too. Because, you know what I'm saying, the DOOMATRON's constantly thinking and adapting right now. So, stay tuned for that. Subriel Matias gets the dub. He's in there like swimwear. Happy as can be. And, you know, he fought Petro again. He wanted that get back. Intrigue in the building. What up, champ? Let me hit the air horn for Intrigue, man. That's the champ right there. You know, me and Intrigue, man, we've been following the same fighters, feeling the same way. Keith Thurman, Jerron. Yeah, hit the air horn for the champ. Yeah, Brandon, you bringing up Lee, huh? The Lee. And I'm not talking about, you know what I'm saying, any light puncher here. We're talking about Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee can hit hard. And I think in an exchange with Subriel Matias, I don't think Matias will be able to take too many of those shots. I mean, again, Petro's no Brandon Lee, man, as far as power punching. So, yeah, that would be an interesting fight, Intrigue. I don't know if that's something he gets. I know right now, I don't know what they're talking about right now, but I think that Subriel can, you know, can take on some of the top guys, top echelon guys, see where he goes. But I don't know. Where do we go? A toast. And guys, little vino. Thank you for tuning in with me. We're going into the main event. Mr. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo, Philippine Phenom. Again, thank you for everybody tuning in from across all the territories around the world. Little vino here. Toast to a good night of boxing. Get some of this resveratrol in me, you know, a little bit of resveratrol. Look that up. It's in the wine. It's good for you. Just don't go mad with the vine, all right? Don't go mad. Man, I'm starting to get hungry, y'all. I didn't have the fight snacks ready, but guess what? I got a Queenie. So I know the Queenie going to take care of the kid, hit me with a sandwich or something. You know what I'm saying? How else do you think I got this glass of wine? I'm in the bricks right now, y'all. New Jersey. Stand up. Matias, one-dimensional twin. You ain't lying. He got to... Listen, he could have showed me more wrinkles, man. Matias could have showed me more wrinkles. Had me here like... Like, what? Bro, you see this Petro coming at you blazing. Use that step back right counter. You know, you don't got to meet him and greet him in the booth, man. That's what Floyd said it best, bro. Object of the game is to hit and not get hit. If you got a guy like Petro, I mean, look, you outdid him this time, Subriel. You know, he got you the first one though. You know what I'm saying? He got you the first one. Because in the first one, honestly,
he was basically just a punching bag.
You know what I'm saying? You can't stand in front of each other like y'all some everlast punching bags, man. Listen, it's a fun style. I enjoyed it. I loved it. But for the longevity of fighters, you got to mix it up a little bit. But nonetheless, I know we were entertained tonight. That's all right. And we'll keep it moving. All right. Looks like... you know, these fighters are going to the back. Subriel embracing some of the bros there. You know what I'm saying? You already know who was in the building. Stop playing. You know who was in the building, champ. Y'all don't know who was in the building? Toma, champy. Hit him with the toma. Let's go. Okay, coming up next for the WBC Featherweight World title, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo. And you got Brian Custer and Al Bernstein chopping it up on the telecast. And, man, Al Bernstein, call him the legend. He's giving us a little history of the 1970s. I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe you guys could tell me. But he's been in the game for a little bit, man. Got to respect him. Cool guy, too, man. He ain't let your mans in them at Trilla, get him angry and shit when he was blowing that smoke. He was like, I would take you out, but I'm going to let you slide. Mr. Gary Russell Jr., I'm going to have to hit him with the poll, y'all. I'm going to hit y'all with the poll. It's over. I got a question. Can you answer it? All right? Can you answer it? Because we know that Mark Magsayo has the power, and I'm curious to know if the community believes in that power. So, my question to you guys is, will Mark Magsayo knock down Gary Russell Jr. in this fight? Will he? Can he? It's up to y'all, man, to let me know. Because I know that a lot of people believe in Mark Magsayo's power. A lot of people. Shout out to the Philippines sticking behind their champion. Hey, yo, is that Christopher? Hey, Christopher. What are you doing, Christopher? My main man, Christopher, is in the building, in the chat. You know I got to hit him with the air horn. You know what I'm saying? Squad up. So, yeah, Christopher. Who do you think got this? And answer that poll question too, Champy, because I need to know. Will Mark Magsayo knock down Gary Russell Jr. in this fight? Will he? All these things y'all throwing at Gary. Yo, he been out the ring for 2 years. I get it. I know boxing. I know what 2 years in the layoff can do to you. But if you in the gym, you sparring, your intellect is there. Listen, oh my God, look at that shot Gary Russell Jr. hit that man with. Gary could listen. My next question, you already know what the next question is gonna be. I know you taking a look at these highlights like, whoa, Gary could knock dudes down. Gary puts dudes down. Yeah, you forgot, huh? Yeah, listen, Tug Nambayar was a tough dude, not an easy guy to fight. You got to give it the respect he deserves. Chris, what up, Champy? Mark is a live dog in this fight. Ah, shit. I know he is, bro. Number two. And he's not afraid to trade. That Julio Ceja fight was... Yo, let me tell you something, bro. Julio Ceja was fighting the perfect fight. Like, I'm talking about he was combination punching. I mean, he was a dog in that fight. And he managed to put Mark Magsayo down. I don't know. Chris, what you mean that was a long time ago? What was a long time ago? Gary Russell Jr.? So what you saying? He's an old dog now? He ain't got it? Damn. I don't know, Champy. You might be wrong on this one. Or you might be right. And maybe I'm just a hopeful, but I just can't see Gary Russell Jr. coming in here lagging, lacking. Like, I just can't see it. I could tell you more about Mark, though. I mean, you want to talk about odds? I mean, if you go and you check Mark Magsayo right now, right? Let's go check Mark Magsayo, because last time I checked, I gave away some bets too, Chris. You know me and shit. I have DraftKings, and I'm just up there looking at things and seeing where I can make some extra Skrilla. But the bets that I was giving out on the DraftKings was if you got a Hail Mary bet for a draw on this fight, right? If you want a Hail Mary bet, you can go ahead and say it's a draw for Mark Magsayo and Gary Russell Jr. With $25, you could turn it into $525 for a draw. As you just saw, Subriel Matias and Petro gave us a draw. Now, considering you guys want to give Gary the the disadvantage because of the rust, but you want to give him the advantage in experience, and Mark Magsayo obviously has punching power. I think things are starting to kind of even keel itself off. So I don't think a draw is totally out of the question. I had another one for Gary Russell Jr. If you wanted to place a bet of $25, you can make $175. And of course, that was for round group betting for round 7 through 9. If Gary Russell is able to finish him, you could turn 25 to 175 bucks. So I thought that was a decent bet to place. If you guys have parlays and other stuff like that, I don't know exactly how you're parlaying and combining. But for the third bet, I said to myself, why not put a $25 quarter real quick and put it on a decision win for Mark Magsayo? I mean, for all of you guys that are saying the ring rust is real, that would be a reasonable bet to put on. So those were my 3 bets that I really kind of threw in there for tonight's fight. And that's on DraftKings. I don't know where you guys are betting at. Again, polls up. Will Mark Magsayo knock down Gary Russell Jr. in this fight? That was one of the actual bets that you could have betted on. Counting on Mark Magsayo to knock Russell down, or vice versa, I believe. Okay, Mr. Steal Your Chin. Cheer. All right, Troy Smoke Alarm. Shout out to you, champion. You putting some Skrilla on this fight? Oh, no. Oh, look at this guy. Somebody injured themselves in the camp. Yeah, they kept saying that about Gary, right? Gary won't reveal what the injury is. I mean, why even say it, man? I wouldn't even say it. But, I mean, at least he's still fighting. Doesn't feel like the injury is bad enough for him not to step in the ring. So, it could be anything, folks. You know, these guys, when they step in the ring, they're not 100%. But, you know, sometimes you feel better than other days. And you got to just take it at, how life gives it to you. But rarely do you find a guy that says, nothing's wrong. I'm 100%. Tail of the tape, WBC Featherweight Championship fight, 12-rounder, championship boxing here. Premier Boxing Championships. Champions. It's a 126-pound fight. And what can you do? Mandatory position for Mark Magsayo. Number 2, taking on Gary Russell Jr. I think the longest ranging champ in that division, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take it there. Everybody that's tuning in, if you got some grub, grab it up right now. Anything can happen in this fight. You got Mark Magsayo who can power punch at the long range. You got Gary Russell Jr. that can hit you with the killer combos. And I'm not playing when I tell you, killer combo, and stop you or drop you. Oh, that's how Rough Riders roll. You saw how I threw that in there? Chill, Chizzy. Let's go. Jimmy Lennon Jr. Mark Magsayo in the back. Dipped up. Got the vest on. I don't even know if it's a full vest, but he's definitely got the ill-ass Naruto headband. Yeah. El Magnifico. All right, guys. In honor of this fight, I might have to switch it up on y'all. I'm going from the bricks to both these men right here. Who you got? Mark Magsayo or my man, Mr. Gary Russell Jr.? Who you got? Check out the poll on the chat right now. Will Mark Magsayo knock down Gary Russell Jr. in this fight? 75% of you say yes. 25% of you say no. I guess y'all don't believe it.
Nope.
And I dig it. I ain't got a shovel, but I could dig it. Mark Magsayo steps into the ring. Cheep. Vamos, campeón. He's looking to, become that next best thing since sliced bread in the Philippines. Does he have a future? I think so. I definitely think so. And, the inactivity of Gary Russell Jr., even though I don't believe is a factor, it will show if it is. And Mark Magsayo's been pretty active. So I got to give him, the credit. Because, a fighter that stays active is a dangerous fighter. Simple as that. You cannot not be fighting. If that's your job and you're a fighter, you got to stay fighting. But because I've been in these boxing circles for so long and I've seen different types of fighters, and all that DOOMATRON could give you is some of his insights. And traditionally, I would say, yes, you are right. I would definitely say you're right. Being out of the ring this long can have an effect on you. But let's see if Mr. Gary Russell Jr. rises to the occasion. Coming in with the tiny vest, showing off the guns, ready to go to work, not playing no games. WBC belt held up high. I don't know who's next to him, but it looks like some tribal men. Wow, this is quite the ceremony. This man is connected to the earth. He is a hunter. Y'all can see him on those videos on YouTube, quartering animals, eating from the land. Kills what he eats. Let's go, champ. Eats what he kills. Champ. Mr. Gary Russell Jr., y'all. Everybody tuning in. Will Mark Magsayo knock down Gary Russell Jr. in this fight? 70% of you say yes, 30% say no. And I ain't hating. I ain't got a shovel, but I can dig it. Let's go. 2-year layoff for Gary Russell Jr. Let's see if this is going to be a factor. Or is he a very special individual? You want to hope he is. We don't want to see him at a 50%. We want to see him at his best. Man, this vest thing he's wearing, I mean, I never seen nothing like it. Got the WBC patch on the back in the center. Looks like the type of, the guinea tee that you fight with in the amateurs. But then it turns into a hoodie. And then they got a zipper in the front. I never seen nothing like this. Custom made, champions. Custom made. Let's go. Vamos, campeón. Everybody tuning in. I'm about to switch the Polski up on y'all. All right? That was the question. Will Mark Magsayo knock down Gary Russell Jr. in this fight? But guess what? Segundo mundo. I got another question. All right? Because we could say that Mark Magsayo has that opportunity or chance or possibility to knock down the Gary Russell Jr. Yes, he does. Because he has the power. He has the long range seeking heat missiles that he can land on Mr. Gary Russell Jr. But the real question is, can Gary Russell Jr. knock down Mark Magsayo, the young gun? See, we don't give Gary Russell Jr. the props that we need to give him. He doesn't have that 1 KO power, but the combination puncher that he is can very well produce a TKO. Rules number 3 knockdown. No 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round, and the fight is officially began after the 4th round. It's the same story we've been hearing all night, right? Can Gary Russell Jr., and I'm going to say Mr. Gary Russell Jr., right? I'm going to give him his respect. Got to give a hunter his respect. Can Mr. Gary Russell Jr. knock down Mark Magsayo? That is the question. That's the question for the community. Let's go, champ. Christopher, he's not revealing that. And I'm not privy to that information, but he says that he was injured. I'm thinking that it wasn't that bad or bad enough for him not to be able to manage it and go up against a young gun like Mark Magsayo. El Magnifico. Yeah, Gary, listen, look. When I'm commentating, I stay as unbiased, as I can. But as a boxing fan, Gary Russell Jr., I got my money on Gary. And there's a possibility of a draw, yes. But it's the speed that separates Gary Russell Jr. from all of the rest. And unless I see that slow down, I can't bet against him. I cannot do it. Nothing to happen. Again, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that notification bell so that you know when the DOOMATRON is activated. putting together the boxing program schedule for y'all so y'all could maintain a consistent schedule with me here, providing all types of boxing content, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in right now. We're doing the live fight chat. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo. Co-main event, Subriel Matias takes the dub in a stoppage, RTD. And a draw between Zachariah Lucas, man, and Tug Nambayar. Was not expecting that one. And fighter announcements are going on right now for Mark Magsayo. Magnifico. Let's go, champ. You got to be magnifique. Yo, I'm really feeling that headband. Yo, Naruto style. That ain't a regular headband, champ. That is definitely not a regular headband. That's leather? Damn. My man's got a super leather. I mean, that's the extra high-end headband, champ. That's platinum foil or oh man. All right. Fighter announcement for Mr. Gary Russell Jr. in the black trunks, representing Capitol Heights in Maryland. Stand up, Marilan. And we got a fight. Mark Magsayo, Gary Russell Jr. Many questions will be answered. Been waiting for Gary to get in the ring for a long time. Talks with Haney. Talks with a whole bunch of fighters. Big shout out to Gary Russell or Mr. Senior Russell, the patriarch of the family, for making an effort to be present for his son's fight. You know, you can only get motivated by that. Gary Russell Jr.'s got a fire lit under him. Mark Magsayo, appreciative of the opportunity to take on the champ. That's right, baby. 12-rounder, ready to begin. As Coach Doomy, Referee Doomy would say, fight hard, fight clean. This is a 12-round championship fight. Place your bets. Who's your champ in the fight? We got a New Jersey judge, y'all. You know we're going to put the pressure on him. You got to get it right. Round one. Fight has begun. Jab for jab. Mark Magsayo throws a wild right hook. Misses by 1,000 miles and I would... No, just kidding. All right. Double jab. Stepping right for Gary Russell. Gary Russell was ready to take him for a takedown, but looks like Mark might have been too heavy. Okay. Both fighters center of the ring. Right hook for Magsayo to the body. Gary Russell steps in with a left hand. I believe it lands. Camera angle is not the best for that punch to be viewed. Mark Magsayo throws an uppercut, misses. This is a typical orthodox southpaw situation. Right hand, left hand touching a lot. Both fighters fighting for the outside control of that lead foot. Possible head bunts, possible trip ups. So watch closely as this fight develops. Right hand again lands for Mark Magsayo. I don't know if there was a head collision there. Again, Mark Magsayo, very light on his feet. Throws a body shot. Gary Russell, kind of finding range, I think. Doubling up the jab. Really more for range finding. Nothing aggressive. Don't even count on it, though, you know. Usually, Gary Russell Jr. for the first 6 rounds speeds up the pace. But I think in this round, he has to be careful. He has to download some information and range before he goes into his multiple combination punching. Gary, still range finding. Uppercut to the body lands for Magsayo. Sort of a step back, winding uppercut. 1-2. Step in punching by Gary Russell Jr. Again, guys, we're on the last minute of the first round of a 12-round championship fight. Gary Russell Jr., the shorter fighter. But obviously always the shorter fighter. Left hook, kind of hybrid jab, lands for Mark Magsayo. 1-2 by Gary Russell Jr. Keeping Mark honest. And typical first rounder. A lot of range finding. A lot of questions to be answered by both fighters. And nonetheless, man, I don't know about you guys, but Mark looks big. He looks strong. He looks healthy. I don't know, man. Who do you give that first round to, guys? Pretty hard to tell. I could have gave it to Mark. Mark was probably the one. I don't know. Let's see what the Steve Farhood card says. It could have been a swing round to me. Not much, not much action to really like give one or the other fighter the 100%. But let's see in this quick. All right, 1-1-2 missed by Mark Magsayo. Gary Russell Jr. was about to take him uptown, bring him downtown, but looks like Mark Magsayo got real heavy all of a sudden. Okay, right uppercut lands to the chest of Gary Russell by Mark Magsayo. And one of the punches that I fear that Gary Russell Jr. is susceptible is the uppercut, because he fights as a shorter fighter, and when he steps in, he fights short. Uppercut keeps landing right now to the body by Mark Magsayo, having success. Gary, I think, might have lost that first round. I don't know. Could have gone any other way. I won't be mad at you if you picked any other way. Mark Magsayo on Taekwondo feet, real light, on the back foot. Gary Russell pressing forward. Another right uppercut to the body lands for Mark Magsayo, having success on that sternum of Gary Russell. These shots can start to pay dividends across the 12 rounds. Gary Russell has got to show some more aggression in order to put Mark Magsayo in a position to make some mistakes. Good left step in for Gary Russell. The camera angles are pretty tough to watch when the camera's towards the back, but it seemed to have landed. We're more than a minute into the second round. Good head movement by Gary Russell as Mark tries to jab. Wow, very good movement by Gary Russell Jr. Makes your style. There we go. Halfway through this second round, Mark Magsayo decides to throw that uppercut again. Step back uppercut, a la Terrence Crawford when he stopped Ndango. Good head movement by Mark Magsayo. And referee kind of stepped in. I don't know what he was concerned for, but Mark Magsayo misses with the right hand. Gary Russell stays very low. Step in right hand for Mark. Parried by Mr. Gary Russell Jr. We're reaching the last minute here. Right hand by Mark. Misses. Was caught on the gloves by Mr. Gary Russell Jr. All right, what are we looking at here, folks? Oh, step in left hook by Mark Magsayo. The famous step in hook. He misses wildly. You got to be quicker than that. Chill, Chizzy. You're fighting Mr. Gary Russell Jr. You got to put something together. You want to land that one. 1-2 by Mark Magsayo. Lands on the gloves. Jab lands for Mr. Gary Russell Jr. to the body. Left hand lands to the head for Gary Russell Jr. He has a lot of success with the step in left hand. You normally don't see this. You first see a jab or one of the, punches from. Mark Magsayo lands his right hook. Gary kind of sort of rolls with it. End of the second round. Let's go, champ. What y'all think, y'all? Can Mr. Gary Russell Jr. knock down Mark Magsayo? That is the question on the poll. Let's go, champ. All right, let's see what we got the keys to victory for the champions on the telecast here. Create doubt early. How do you create doubt? There's a lot of ways to create doubt, but we'll give you that. Let the combinations flow. Wow. Look at this guy. That's the keys to victory, huh? Let the combinations go.
Oh, look at this guy.
Yeah? Really? All right. Let the combinations go then, champ. Mark Magsayo, keys to victory is fight tall. Don't concentrate just on the power. And, of course, you know, you want to make sure that you're careful coming in with these power shots, man. I didn't like the way he missed that left hook. Round 3 has just started. Step in 1-2 for Mark Magsayo. Trying to aggressively show Gary Russell Jr. that he's in a fight. Another uppercut lands to the body for Mark Magsayo, followed by a left hook to the body. Mark Magsayo can have plenty of success in this fight if he keeps it at that long range, having the longer range in the arms. Gary Russell Jr. on the inside trying to turn it into a dirty boxing match right now. But Mark Magsayo out of range again. Left uppercut. Blocked by Gary Russell Jr. What's going on, champions? Mark Magsayo starting to miss that left hook a lot, man. He's got to set it up. Gary not allowing for Mark to just have his way. Mark's throwing some real heavy shots. Okay, jab to the body by Gary Russell Jr. Mark Magsayo standing in front of him, trying to cover ground, putting pressure, but Gary on the defense, able to back up. Step in left hand for Gary, but Mark Magsayo greets him with a double shovel uppercut up the middle that lands. These punches can slow Gary down. Gary has to be very careful not to take too many of these body punches. Chill Chizzy. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be an interesting night in the bedroom. Okay, step in right hand for Mark Magsayo, but Gary Russell pivots out of the way. So smooth. Moving and grooving. Another missed left hook by Mark Magsayo. Gary Russell, step back left hand. Blocked by Mark Magsayo. Again, guys, we're reaching the last minute of the third round. The poll's up. Can Mr. Gary Russell Jr. knock down Mark Magsayo? Can he? Can he? I don't know. You tell me, champion. You probably telling me like,
I don't give a damn.
but I'm telling you, you should. All right. Gary Russell Jr. on the back foot. Dropping that lead hand. Very comfortable with the range and the ability to slip out of those power shots being thrown by Mark Magsayo. Mark Magsayo stepping forward. Left hook to the body. Right hand up top. Gary Russell able to evade and throw his own left. Didn't quite land on Mark Magsayo, but keeping Mark Magsayo honest. All right, guys. Can Mr. Gary Russell Jr. knock down Mark Magsayo? Poll reads 20% of you said yes. 80% said no. And we're finishing the third round. Champ. All right. I'm going to end that poll, too. I got some more questions. All right. My man Steve Farhood kicking it with Stephen Fulton. Man, I got to get a jacket like that North Face that Stephen Fulton got on, man. That shit's tight. 'Tis the season, too. Right now, it's mad cold. Yo, Jersey is cold. Let me check. Man, I'm going to tell y'all right now how cold it is. It's super cold in Jersey, y'all. I'm not even playing, bro. I mean, we talking about 22 degrees. Bro, you go out, you put your cup of water outside. See how fast that freezes up. I need that North Face just like that. Chinchilla style. Mink style. Stephen Fulton, man. Able to, get that dub against Brandon. I wouldn't mind seeing that fight again, to be honest with you. Look at Jim. You got a warm coat. That's right. La cara del norte. All right, we're stepping into the fourth round. A third of the way in this fight. Right? Do I got it right? A third? Yeah. We'll call it third. All right. Let's see what the what the scorecard is so far. I didn't get to see what Steve Farhood had it. Oh, what's that? Good body shots landing on Gary Russell Jr. Whoa, it might be oh my God, it might be an injury that's showing in the play. He didn't want to tell us what it was. I didn't like what I just saw from Gary Russell Jr. right now. Mark Magsayo landing some pretty hard shots. I don't know if that can be plugged into a ring rust. That was just a hard play shot to the body. Another right hand lands for Mark Magsayo. Doing the right thing by working that body, man. Holy moly. I did not like the way Gary Russell Jr. reacted to those shots. Not the way to go, champy. Counter left hand for Gary Russell Jr. Chill, Chizzy. Okay. All right, the pace slowed down halfway through the fourth round. Jab by Mark Magsayo. Oh, good left hand lands for Gary Russell Jr. Mark Magsayo, man, he landed some good shots there. Another shot to the body right there. He's starting to work that right side of Gary Russell. Twin, you think it might have been his shoulder? Man. Gary looked like he winced when that happened. Mark Magsayo just did like a forward march run on Gary. I don't know what he was trying to do with that. Gary Russell Jr. on the last minute here on the fourth round. Mark Magsayo staying patient. Gary Russell Jr., man, I don't know if something's wrong, y'all. I don't know. He's fighting very smart. And he's not throwing that right hand. He could be throwing a step back right hook, but he's throwing the left hand a lot more. I don't know, y'all. Keep watch. Keep watch. A lot of left hands, no right hands. Something is wrong with that left arm. I'm not seeing it move like I normally do. Gary Russell Jr. using his intellect and his experience to finish this round. Ah, man. A shoulder injury.
It's horrible.
Not a good way to fight a fight. I'll tell you what, especially against a guy like Mark Magsayo. Magnifico. And the round is over. We're going to be going into the fifth round. Hopefully, Gary Russell Jr. can make it through this fight. I just saw too many consistent and consecutive left hands being thrown. Don't like it that he didn't throw that right hook at all, man. Oh, my God. He's talking to the doctor. It is the right shoulder. Gary Russell Jr., a warrior, and even taking this fight. A rotator cuff. I mean, anything could be happening to this man right now. Got to be very careful. He's made it thus far through the fourth round. Doctor says it's okay. Gary Russell Jr., a warrior, saying, nah, man, I'm going to keep going because I think I can. Right jab hook lands for Gary Russell Jr. And I think in that punch, I don't know if it was the forward momentum of Mark Magsayo that might have aggravated that punch to affect his shoulder. Fifth round of a 12-round fight, y'all. This is a turn. This is quite the turn. Gary Russell Jr. is fighting a fight right now, and he's not 100%. Not by far. This is no bueno. We're going to see a lot of reserve. He's going to be reserved in this fight. Gary Russell Jr. has got to survive this fight with that right shoulder being injured. Still clipping Mark Magsayo, though. Mark Magsayo smells the blood, y'all. It's over. Mark Magsayo knows that he has an injured lamb in front of him. But is he a lamb? Or is he a wolf? Can he finish this fight with a left hand? We're not even halfway through this championship fight, y'all. This is a tough one. We didn't know. See, the injury was the X factor. We didn't know exactly what it was. But now we can clearly see that it's that right hand, right shoulder, right arm, whatever you want to say, that's not able to move. He's not throwing it at all, y'all. Gary Russell Jr. fighting off of pure heart and grit right now. Step back left hand. Look at it. He holds that lead hand very low. Shoulder can't even carry it. It's a tough one. You can't judge Gary Russell Jr. on this fight alone for his comeback, or even for all of you guys that are saying that he has ring rust. I can't sign it off the ring rust right now. I can sign it off the injury. I cannot sign it off the ring rust. You got a man in there with one arm fighting this fight. Mark Magsayo smelling the blood, knowing that he's inches away from a title. A punch away, a knockdown away, a stoppage away from a title. Step in left to the body by Gary Russell Jr. Tripled it. Quadruples the left. Pivots out of the way. Watch as Gary Russell Jr. uses his intellect. That is what he has in this fight. One arm and his intellect and his feet. Mark Magsayo trying to find a way in. Left body shot, right body shot by Mark Magsayo. Triple attack. Mark Magsayo leans on Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. drops for a quick second, pops right back up. Both miss with the left and right. And it looks like we finished the 5th round and are entering the 6th. I don't know if Gary Russell Jr. can continue the rest of this fight like this, man. This is no bueno. This hurts. It hurts to watch. Ah, dang. Man. Mark Magsayo seems to be just fine. Throwing a lot of shots, obviously. Freddie Roach in the ring, giving instructions. Man, look at the replay. Multiple combinations thrown by Mark Magsayo as he leans on top of Gary Russell Jr. Again, y'all, Mr. Gary Russell Jr., obvious that he has an injury, possibly mainly to that shoulder. Twin, you're right. Magsayo, if he was a nitty-gritty bad mofo, he'd start to punch that shoulder. Yes, you're right. This is boxing, champy. It gets grueling. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know, when it's a fight, and I don't mean literally, but I do mean like whoever's going to win is going to win. Warrior sport. 6 rounds, halfway through this fight. Can Gary Russell Jr. manage another 6 rounds? Mark Magsayo piercing to that high guard, able to land a right and a left jab. Some of the mustard taken off, obviously, because of the high guard being placed well. Gary Russell Jr. pushing back Mark with the left hands. And we got to fight, y'all. We got a fight that might be unfair in a sense, but I mean, what can you do? He took the fight. Warrior shit. Cheer. That's it. Less than 2 minutes left in the 6th round. Mr. Gary Russell Jr. showing that he can stay in there, use his intellect to try to avoid some of the onslaught being brought by the young Mark Magnifico Magsayo. Halfway through the 6th round, what do we got? A man with one arm throwing left hands only. Man, I tell you, you got to be a special breed to do things like this. To find a way. Left hand lands again for Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. is just sharpshooting. That's what he's doing. Sharpshooting, man. Sharpshooting and evading punches. Right hand to the body lands for Magnifico. Magnifico needs to turn up the heat if he wants to put away a Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. is very, very smart, and he has a lot of endurance. I'm pretty sure he practiced in the camp to throw as many lefts as possible, knowing that that right arm was injured in the way it is. Double right hand from Mark Magsayo. Oh my goodness, man. It just, seeing a man throwing only left hands, man, it just, you got to respect it. You can only just sort of root for the guy in a way, But, the rounds are going to tell how much more can Gary Russell Jr. do with just a left hand. Twin, who won the round? I got distracted. Champ. Bro, at this point, I don't know. Mark Magsayo is throwing punches with both hands. What are you going to do? Crazy, y'all. A little vino. A little reservatoire for the blood. Again, everybody tuning in. Shout out to the chat. Everybody watching. Even if you're not in the chat, you just sitting there listening. I appreciate you. It's Alex Doomsday Linus, the Doomatron here on the Boxing Biz podcast radio show, bringing you the best in blow by blow, round by round commentating. As you can see in the replay right there, Mark Magsayo, left, right, left, piercing through the right high guard of Gary Russell Jr. Some of that uppercut that, Magsayo threw landed. Not too much. Gary Russell able to put the shield up there. Let's go, champ. We're entering the 7th round. It's happened, y'all. Gary Russell Jr. manages to pass the halfway point of this 12-round fight with one arm. What you got to say about that? Huh? James Benitez. Let me hit my mans in them with the horn, champ. Shout out to James Benitez for tuning in on the live fight chat here on the Boxing Biz podcast radio show. I appreciate you, champion. James Benitez. He got his own left hooks and right hooks. Chill, Chizzy. Don't sleep. 2 minutes, 20 seconds into the 7th round. Mark Magsayo throwing some punches, putting pressure on Gary, but Gary doing enough with that left hand. Punches landed for Gary Russell Jr. 40. Mark Magsayo 89. Obviously, when you're throwing only with one hand, you're going to have half the stats. Gary Russell Jr. is okay with this pace. I think that Gary Russell Jr., after these 2 rounds that I've kind of noticed, he's able to fight this fight at this pace with one arm, man. Mark Magsayo has got to turn up the heat. Steve Farhart has the card at 57-57. So it's an even bout, folks. Ain't nothing major happening right now. One hand, Gary Russell Jr. Excuse me. One hand, Gary Russell Jr. Call me. I'm going to have like 5 sandwiches after this. Getting hungry, y'all. Not as hungry as Gary Russell Jr. is. Able to still maintain an even keel thus far in this fight with one arm. Mark Magsayo is being too tentative, man. He has to turn up the heat. He's got to get in there and throw multiple combinations in order to get Gary Russell Jr. to make a mistake. Gary Russell Jr. still fighting with the lead arm down. Obviously, it's injured. Left hook lands for Gary Russell Jr. on the inside. James, hell yeah, man. I agree with that, bro. Gary Russell Jr. is elite. Is elite. 2 years off. Injured. Going through all the adversities that he has within his family. And still fighting with one hand and keeping the fight even. We don't know who's getting the 7th round, but last round that we saw Steve's card, it was 57-57. Step in! Right, left by Mark Magsayo. Lands on the chin of Gary Russell Jr. Nothing to really shake him up. Mark Magsayo on Taekwondo feet, hopping up and down, stepping in with the 1-1-2. Gary Russell Jr. manages to get out of distance, throw his own left hand. Round 7 is over. Gary Russell Jr. makes it out of another round with one hand. Check out Showtime Championship Boxing, y'all. Colbert versus Gutierrez. Let's go, champ. Russell versus Postal. Ancajas versus Martinez. I'm down. I'm watching. But I'm a boxing junkie, right? Call me boxing junkie status. Let me put up another poll, y'all. Because I got to ask. Will Gary Russell Jr., right, be able to finish this 12-round fight? Will he do it? I don't know, champs. That's going to take a lot of grit. A lot of grit. But that's the question I got for y'all. I'm putting it out there on the live fight chat. On the live chat, excuse me, because we are on the live fight chat. Check out the poll. The poll reads what it reads. Will Gary Russell Jr. be able to finish this fight, this 12-round fight? Will he be able to finish this fight, y'all? One arm against a contender like Mark Magsayo. Step back left. Kind of lands for Gary Russell Jr. It might have landed on the shoulder. But we're in the 8th round. We're 2/3 of the way into this fight. Gary Russell Jr. Mark Magsayo. Mark Magsayo steps forward, inching his way forward. Has to throw more combination punches, man. Gary Russell Jr. is content right now. And he's able to fight with one arm at this pace. No problemo. Showed it to us the last 3-4 rounds. His step back range is killer. Oh, my God. Double left hand for Gary Russell Jr. to the top and to the bottom. What are we seeing here, y'all? We're seeing a man with one arm getting it off. Stop slacking on Mr. Gary Russell Jr. Mark Magsayo stepping forward with his own punching combinations, but he's just a little bit too far out of range. Step in, feints. Russell 66, Magsayo 67, according to Steve Farhood and his card. What do you guys got it at? Gary Russell Jr. step in, triple left hand. What am I seeing here, y'all? Am I seeing a one-man arm? Excuse me, a one-arm man doing his thing? 1 minute left in the 8 rounds. Gary Russell Jr. pivoting, slipping, throwing his fair share of left hands. Dodges the right hook of Mark Magsayo. Mark has definitely got to turn up the heat if he's going to have success against Gary Russell Jr. At this pace, he will not. Step in left, shovel, uppercut, lands on the top for Mark Magsayo. Don't know if Gary was able to actually cover up for that shot. We're in the last 30 seconds of the 8th round. 2/3 into this fight. Gary Russell Jr. showing phenomenal head movement with one arm here at the Borgata Resort and Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Shout out to the new subscriber. Everybody tuning in with me on the Boxing Biz podcast radio show. It is Gary Russell Jr., Mark Magsayo. Last seconds of the 8th round. Gary Russell, one-arm Gary. Showing you he can handle his handle. Come on, champions, man. You got to respect it. You know what you're seeing right now? You're seeing a warrior, one arm, and a sword. Fighting. No shield. Let's go, champ. My only fear is that Gary Russell Jr. gets injured too bad in this fight. You know, when you're already fighting with an injury, a guy can punch you. Oh, my God. The infamous and legendary, famous, face mask, face ice mask being applied to Gary Russell Jr. Check out this replay. Left to the body by Gary. Right hand lands for Mark Magsayo. Another instant replay. Step in left hand. Double lands for Gary Russell Jr. Mark Magsayo takes those punches in stride. Nothing super heavy. We're going into the 9th round, y'all. Amazing what I'm seeing from Gary Russell Jr. Give that man his flowers, y'all. How many left hands is he going to throw? How many? Man, listen. Hey, James, if the judges are listening to the commentary, then, oh, my God, step in, left hand lands for Gary Russell Jr. Lights Mark Magsayo right up, wakes him up. Twin, you could probably say that because he's not throwing enough punches, you know? He's really dependent on that left hand. Step in, left hook by Mark Magsayo, misses. Gary Russell able to pivot out of the way. Mark Magsayo starting to close in some distance, put more pressure. That's what he needs to do. There's only but so many punches you can throw on the inside with the left hand. Left body shot lands for Gary Russell Jr. Mark Magsayo inching forward. Throws a right, misses. Dawn 50, I got to hit you with the bell, champy. Thank you for tuning in. You're here on the live fight chat on the Boxing Biz podcast radio show. Yours truly, Alex Doomsday Linez, the Doomatron, because you know how we get down out here. Estamos activado, campeón. You know what I'm saying? We're in halfway through already. The 9th round.
DOOMATRON activated.
Mark Magsayo still not applying enough pressure, man, to finish a one-armed man. Gary Russell Jr. just seems to be a little bit too much in the boxing IQ level for Mark Magsayo. Not that that's surprising to me, but you can tell. Mark Magsayo has the opportunity to win a WBC title. To win and say, I'm top dog. Can he do it? Gary Russell Jr. slipping, moving and grooving. And able to keep Mark Magsayo at a distance where Mark Magsayo's punch effectiveness lacks. What's going on? We're going into the last 30 seconds of the 9th round. Gary Russell Jr., one-arm Gary Russell. Making it a fight. Mark Magsayo, El Magnifico. Not seeming to be able to put the extra pressure necessary to put Gary Russell Jr. away. Gary Russell Jr. won't stop. Good combination punching right now for El Magnifico. Causes Gary Russell Jr. to get a little bit flustered and move a lot more. 9th round is over. Oh, we're going into the 10th on this one. One arm, champy. One arm. Are you kidding me? Longest reigning current male champions. Gary Russell Jr., 6 years, 10 months at the 126-pound division. Followed by Thamanmun Niyim Strong, Jerwin Ancajas, Leo Santa Cruz, Errol Spence Jr., Dimitri Bivol, and Archer Beterbiev. All within the 4 to 6 year span. Longest reigning current champions. All right. Instructions being given to Gary Russell Jr. Still have not seen him throw that right hand, y'all. It's amazing. I mean, even when you're fighting, right? Like, you're fighting and you're like telling yourself not to throw a right hand when your instincts are saying, yo, the punch is there. Incredible amount of discipline right now being displayed by Gary Russell Jr. Amazing. All right, 10th round has begun. Magsayo throws a winding right uppercut up the middle, which he had some success in the early rounds to the sternum and the stomach of Gary Russell Jr. But Gary showing angles, moving around, not allowing Mark Magsayo to gain any rhythm in this fight. Let's go, champy. Mark Magsayo throwing his left hooks, right hands. Steve Faru has this fight 84-87 Magsayo. I'm assuming is more so for the punch count than anything else. Because I am not seeing Mark Magsayo land anything super flush or anything super effective. Mark Magsayo right now has the advantage that he has the punch volume count. Gary Russell Jr. dependent on only the left hand and his ability to slip punches. All right, y'all. The poll, you already know what it read. Will Gary Russell Jr. be able to finish this 12-round fight 42% of you said yes. 58% said no. I don't know what y'all talking about. Yeah, 58%.
Hey, what happened?
Because so far, so good. Gary Russell Jr. at a decent pace. Mark Magsayo is not applying enough pressure to put Gary Russell Jr. on the fence, per se. Good right uppercut lands for Mark Magsayo. Another right hand lands for Mark Magsayo. Gary Russell Jr. on the back foot, feigning, trying to create different angles and make Mark Magsayo think before he steps in with some of these combinations. Ring generalship, y'all. Mark Magsayo controlling the pace, walking forward. Gary Russell Jr. doing a hell of a job, though, nullifying some of the stuff that Mark Magsayo is trying to do. Green Dixon, what up, champy? Gotta hit the alarm or the air horn for everybody tuning in. Appreciate y'all. That was for Green Dixon. This is the live fight chat. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo. Champ, we here. Late night, 12:05 a.m. Eastern time. You're hanging out with the DOOMATRON, Alex Doomsday Linus. Last 30 seconds of the 10th round. We're going to be going into the championship rounds, y'all. I don't see nothing. Left hand shovel uppercut for Gary Russell Jr. Mark Magsayo on Taekwondo feet. Who the hell's Love Face XYZ? I'm taking you out, champy. I'm hiding you. That's it. You hitting. Last seconds of the 10th round. And stepping left jab lands for Mark Magsayo. But Gary Russell Jr. says, no way, Jose. Slips the other three combinations coming right after. Let's go, champity champ. We removing you. We doing all types of stuff to you, champ. It's all right. I'm fighting the trolls, y'all, on the chat. I'm fighting the trolls. I'm hitting them with everything. I'm like Gary Russell Jr. in this piece with these trolls. Putting them in timeout, all types of fudgery. Got the DOOMATRON hitting these trolls with the Ultra Combo, champ.
Ultra Combo!
Okay, Mark Magsayo being displayed on this slow motion highlight. Nothing really crazy landed for him. You already know, champies. You already know. All right, we're entering the 11th round, y'all. 11th round, one arm. Stop disrespecting Gary Russell Jr. I know a lot of fighters who would have been said no mas. It's a different breed, y'all. Triple right hook penetrates for Mark Magsayo. Gary Russell Jr. taking it in stride, stepping in with his own left hand. Lands, but not enough to keep Magsayo at bay. Steve Farr, who has this fight 93-97 for Magsayo. Again, y'all, one of the bets that I called for y'all, especially for those Magsayo hopefuls, was Mark Magsayo by decision. You turned $25 into $212 on the DraftKings. I don't know if any other betting site had it looking better for y'all, but for all the Mark Magsayo guys, shout out to Filipino boxing. The whole country, Philippine, y'all winning right now. Circumstantial, obviously, but nonetheless, Mark Magsayo wants to take advantage of this situation, missing with his right and left. Shout out to the new subscriber, William Boxing. I'm going to hit you with the air horn, even though you might not be on the chat. Shout out to everybody tuning in right now. This is the live fight chat on the Boxing Biz podcast radio show. Gary Russell Jr., one arm. Gary Russell Jr. taking on the Philippine phenom, El Magnifico, Mark Magsayo. Look at me. We're already halfway through the 11th round, y'all. Mark Magsayo pacing forward, trying to find an opening, but Gary Russell Jr. just too slick for Mark Magsayo to put that pressure that he wants to put on Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. fighting off the back foot, throws his left hand, lands, but Mark Magsayo ready to give his own right hand to the body as well. We're in the last minute of the 11th round. 1-2 by Mark Magsayo. Gary Russell Jr. slips these punches on his back foot, steps in with his left hand, out the back door again. Gary Russell Jr. has not thrown a right hand just yet, y'all. How injured is that hand? It must be really injured for you to not throw not one time. Mark Magsayo lands the left hand. Gary Russell on the back foot. Looking to counter. Slipping punches. Volume count is down. Can't throw it. Can't throw double the punches if you only got one arm, champ. Mark Magsayo stalking his prey. Unable to actually catch the fox, per se. Too slick, Gary Russell Jr. And it looks like we're going into the last round. The championship round, the 12th round. Gary Russell Jr. pounds his chest. I don't know if he believes that he's winning, but I bet you he believes that he's not giving up one arm in the last, 6 rounds? Are you kidding me? Come on, champ. Come on, champy. Yeah, Mr. Steal Your Chin. I've been calling it that. Listen, I said it in the fighter breakdown. Doomy's fighter breakdown. The uppercut was there for Gary Russell to get hit by. Not for him. Mark Magsayo needs to throw that uppercut a lot more often. Especially in this 12th round if he wants to get a finish. It's incredible to me the display of grit, courage that Gary Russell Jr. has shown in this fight with one hand. Mark Magsayo is not no slouch, man. A young gun. El Magnifico. We're going into the 12th round, y'all. It's happening. It's happening, y'all. It's Hadoukens all day. Hadouken! Gary Russell Jr., Mark Magsayo, last round, championship fight. Will Mark Magsayo turn up the heat in the kitchen? Will he hit the gas, step on it full throttle? Or will Gary Russell Jr. cruise into a decision that might not be favored to him, but given the circumstances, will be an okay thing to say because of the injuries and the adversities that he's taken on in this fight. Loveface back again, ready to put into Troll World. Mark Magsayo, Gary Russell Jr. in the last 2 minutes of a 12-round fight. Mark Magsayo applying consistent pressure, throwing his 1-2s. Not able to create enough pressure to hit Gary Russell with some combinations that'll put him in trouble. Gary Russell Jr. showing speed not only in his hands but in his feet. Killer combo style. Absolutely
Stupendous.
the way Gary Russell Jr. is moving around this ring, not allowing Mark Magsayo, the long gun, to hit him with some really hard shots and create problems. Mark Magsayo, multiple combinations, lands one, but Gary Russell Jr. too slick, too quick. I'm telling you, y'all, Mark Magsayo winning this bout because of the punching volume that he has and he's able to keep. Gary Russell only able to throw with one hand. That is not Mark Magsayo's fault, however. Again, we're at the last minute of a 12-round fight. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo, the number 2 contender. Who will get the dub? Can Gary Russell Jr. pull this off with only half the punch count? Maybe not. But it's showing and displaying a lot of skill in the evasion part of this sport, evading multiple shots from Mark Magsayo. All right, y'all, this is the last 30 seconds. What's going to happen? Mark Magsayo walking forward, trying to apply his pressure as Gary Russell Jr. evades and dips. This is the sport that is dictated by hitting and not get hitting. But Gary Russell Jr. not able to throw enough punches, I believe, for him to get this win. This is in the hands of the judges. Mark Magsayo still walking forward, reaching the last 5 seconds of a 12-round fight. Gary Russell Jr. evading punches. Mark Magsayo walking forward. It is over, folks. Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Magsayo make it to the 12th round and past. This is going to be a decision win for either fighter. Gary Russell Jr., Mark Magsayo, Russell Sr., I believe, is content with his son's performance, given the circumstances. Absolutely incredible. The grit that was shown, the discipline, the cojones by Gary Russell Jr. Mark Magsayo might walk into this with a belt. Hard to say, ladies and gentlemen, what the judges saw. Let's go to Showtime's Inside the Ropes. Right uppercut having success for Mark Magsayo constantly. And that left hand, obviously, having success. But the actual replay was for the right hook that landed for Gary Russell Jr. And from that moment forward, we knew that Gary Russell Jr. was fighting with one arm. Good job done by Gary Russell Jr. considering that he had one arm. Mark Magsayo continuing to land his punches. Obviously not his fault that Gary Russell Jr. was not able to use that other hand. Let's see what the decision pans out to be. What's happening, y'all? Mark Magsayo raises both his arms knowing that he did what he had to do. I mean, am I wrong in even asking? Who do you got? This guy right here? Or this guy right here? Huh? Who do you got? Huh? Who do you got? Russell lands 64 jabs. Magsayo lands 203. There's a big discrepancy now in the amount of punches landed. Mark Magsayo, I believe, walks away with the win. What are you gonna do? You had one arm, Gary. I'm not mad at you, champ. I'm not mad at you. You did what you had to do with one arm, champy. But it looks like Mark Magsayo might have got this one.
To this day.
Mark Magsayo walks over, gives his respects to Gary Russell Jr. Obviously, the sportsmanship being shown. He took on the champion, a 6-year plus reigning champion. Obviously, his inactivity has been a problem, but nonetheless, 2 years back, one arm, goes 12 rounds. Give that man his respect, man. Give that man his respect. Mark Magsayo, I think, is going to walk away with a shiny new belt. The green belt, WBC. Jabs, 17% landed for Mr. Russell. 22% power and 21% total. So 28% total for Mark Magsayo. Obviously, the 41% power shots landing for Mark Magsayo. Obviously, that attains and can be tailed to that one arm, of Gary Russell Jr. He wasn't able to throw more power punches. And usually we see Gary Russell Jr. using his right hook, putting guys down with his right hook is one of his more successful shots. Gio Alban, shout out to you. Let me hit the air horn for you, my brother. Looks like Mark Magsayo might have gotten this one, man. I don't know which fighter you were rooting for. Man, it's fascinating to see that that sweller mask for Gary Russell Jr. That's a custom made there, champ. You don't see too many of those. Twin says Magsayo won hands down.
To this day.
And he does. Mark Magsayo is the new campeon. Holy moly, guacamole. I need some guacamole right now with some chips. Looks like Mark Magsayo is the new champity champ. Champa Lampa. Holy cow. He's done it. And listen, not that I'm surprised. Not enough punches thrown by Gary Russell Jr. The volume output was not there. Big props. A lot of good energy, man. I'm throwing over through Gary Russell Jr., man. Listen, from a warrior standpoint, that man did his best in this fight with one arm. Mark Magsayo, nonetheless, does the do the do like the soda pop, and catches the WBC title. We have a new champion, my friends, and his name is Mark Magsayo from the Philippines, the future of Philippine boxing, according to many. And this was tonight's live fight chat here on the Boxing Biz podcast radio show. Make sure you tune in with us every Saturday for the live fight chat on the Boxing Biz podcast radio show. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Mark Magsayo gets the dub, gets the WBC title. Sky's the limit. Things have opened up for him. Gary Russell Jr., nonetheless, shows hell of a heart, hell of grit, fighting a fight with one arm, which to me is an amazing feat and task in this sport of boxing and in combat sports, period. So shout out to you, champion. Mark Magsayo, the winner. This is a live fight chat on the Boxing Biz podcast show here with yours truly, Alex Doomsday Linus. I appreciate for everybody to tune in. The DOOMATRON was activated.
DOOMATRON activated.
Over and out. Giving the horn to everybody that tuned in. Make sure y'all stay tuned here on the Boxing Biz podcast radio show, as well as the Alex Doomsday Linus channel, where I'll be bringing you vlogs, extra stuff, lifestyle, and all the other stuff in between here with yours truly, the Doomy. Cheer! I'm over and out, yo.